It's the toughest beach race in the world. 750 amateur and professional riders will line up for the final. An all-new feature-packed track will demand everything from the athletes with an epic sting in the tail, the Mystery X Loop. Gear up for the grand finale of the 2018 World Enduro Super Series. This is Red Bull Knockout.
Hello and welcome to the 6th edition of the Red Bull Knockout. We are back at The Hague. The fans have come out in their thousands for what is, without question, the toughest beach race on planet Earth. Now, today we won't just be crowning a knockout winner, it's also part of this year's World Enduro Super Series, the final round. Now, Billy Bolt and Manny Lettenbichler come into this final round separated by just 275 points. So it's all to play for. We will crown the first ever West champion here at the beach on The Hague. Let's take a look at exactly how we got to this point in the championship so far.
The World Enduro Super Series started in Portugal at Extreme XL Lagares, where Billy Bolt crossed the finish line first to win the opening event of the newly established series. Round 2 took the riders to the infamous Hertzberg Rodeo Red Bull Hare Scramble, where we saw a nail-biting finish between Jonny Walker and Graham Jarvis. In the end, the silent assassin came out on top. Only 5 days after the Iron Giant, the first classic enduro of the season awaited. Le Trèfle Lazarian AMV in France was a hard time for the West favorites. Only Spain's Josep Garcia got on a roll and took a 3rd place overall. The 15th edition of the Red Bull Romaniac saw 2 legends dropping out of the race due to illness. Both Blazusiak and Jarvis received 0 points and paved the way for the youngest ever Romaniac's winner, Wade Young. Red Bull 111 Megawatt turned this season upside down with the overall West leader Jonny Walker crashing hard in the main race. As a consequence, Walker had to end his season. Coming to Hawkstone Park for this year's first cross-country race, it was young gun Manuel Lettenbichler leading the overall championship with Billy Bolt close behind. But for the rest of the season, it's the playground of Nathan Watson and especially Joseph Garcia. The young Spaniard dominated in Britain and took his first ever win. Now it's his time to catch up. Nathan Watson came second and scored valuable points for the overall. Local riders once again ruled at the Gotland Grand National with an all-Swedish podium. The only non-Swedish rider in the top 10 was Poland's Tadej Blazusiak, who came in 4th. For the overall, Billy Bolt is still in the West lead, 275 points ahead of Manuel Lettenbichler. Joseph Garcia sits in 3rd, 445 points back. It will be a 3-way battle between these names, as Blazusiak will not be attending the final race of the season.
There is so much to play for today. Billy Bolt, Manny Lettenbichler or Josep Garcia. One of those 3 will be crowned West champion. Let's talk about the knockout though. Now, as I said earlier, this is the 6th edition. The last edition, 2016, was an absolute belter. Jeffrey Hurlings was present, and when the Sandman's around, everybody better watch out.
Red Bull Knockout is known as the toughest beach race in the world. The last edition took place in 2016 and saw many amateur riders battling through the Dutch sands. Come and love me. Come and love me. Come and love me, baby. 2016 saw many crashes amongst the competitors, but there's no time to rest at all. Get up again and fight through 1 hour, 55 minutes of race time. second place was tight as Nathan Watson and Glenn Coldenhoff went flat out side by side. But it was another guy from the Netherlands who dominated in 2016. Jeffrey Herlings was unstoppable.
So in 2016, everything went really well. You know, I won my qualifying heat. So it was actually a great event, great racing, and you know, to go here 1-1 and especially winning the final was pretty amazing.
So Jeffrey Herlings, winner here at the Red Bull Knockout last time in 2016. Critically, he's not riding this year, so keep your eye on Nathan Watson, Milko Podisek, of course we've got Camille Chapelier, and of course Glenn Coldenhoff as well. He finished third in 2016 when we were last here. Now, the track has evolved, as it has done every single year. It is unquestionably the toughest track we've ever seen at the Knockout. Let's have a look at what the riders are in for.
The last race of the 2018 World Enduro Super Series takes us to the beach of Scheveningen. At a total length of 4.5 kilometers, the track features various obstacles. The riders will start in front of the famous pier and blast into a 2-kilometer straightaway. The Joker Loop has to be taken at least 4 times during the race. Throughout the track, challenge after challenge awaits pros and amateurs alike, including the infamous Galaxy Jump. A pit stop is possible during the race, but time is of the essence. For the last hour, the mystery X Loop opens its gate. The final challenge before the race, and Ultimate Enduro champion is crowned at West.
So that's what the riders are in for. The X-Loop is back. Remember, it's only the final hour of the race, and believe me, that can turn the whole thing on its head. It did do that in 2016. Another point this year is the introduction of the Joker Loop. Now, they've got to go through that 4 times, at least 4 times. So we caught up with Robbie Maddison, motocross legend, and Greg Atkins, the man responsible for this track, to find out a little bit more about what they've set for the riders.
G'day, I'm Robbie Maddison here with legendary track builder, the man behind the madness, Greg Atkins. Greg, this is an insane track.
Well, it's a masterpiece that I come up with, and it's really to get guys like you stumped and stuck out there. It was my dream to punish you guys, basically, and hopefully I succeeded this time, Robbie. I threw in the Joker lane there just to make it a little more confusing for you guys, because you're out there on the bike for so long. You got to run it 4 times, basically, and it's at a random period, so you can run it whenever you want, Robbie, inside that thing. It's going to be a hell of a mess in your bike, so good luck when you got to go in there, mate.
So the X Loop there, it's not the entire race you have to do that. It's how do we know, like, when we're racing, when we have to go through that?
Yeah, we've got an intersection built there with a bridge.
Yep.
The bridge will be sitting on red the whole time, and once the lights go blue, it's open, and we close off the following normal lane for you. It looks mean. It is mean.
The hills in there are about 4 meters tall, right? And there's about 45, 50 miles.
Yeah, that's about that. We're running for 250 meters in straight of them, and we're around 4.5 meters deep on them.
Once you get through that, it's a 90-degree turn, and then we come back through a minefield of tree logs.
That goes for another 250 meters, which has also got an X inside it, just to make a bit of confusion with you, because really the key point is to go to the center. But that's obviously going to be a horrible bottleneck with holes digging in it. So you'll end up trying to run the outsides then.
The last hour is that loop, yeah?
You get a whole hour of pain.
Can't wait. Thank you so much for building an amazing track. I'm excited to deal with your masterpiece. Right on. Cheers.
It is, without question, the toughest track we've ever seen. And that's one of the great things about the Red Bull Knockout. Every time we come here, it just gets more and more difficult. Now, this morning we started with 1,000 riders. Believe it or not, when the entry list opened, in 40 minutes, it sold out. So we started with 1,000 riders this morning. We had Heat 1 to get it down to 750 riders for this final. Let's take a look at exactly how the action unfolded earlier today.
1,000 riders then came down onto the beach for the Red Bull Knockout Qualifier. The top men on the front row of the grid, all of them, like number 57, Billy Bolt, seeking the whole shot. But the man who really made it count was the pre-race favourite, Glenn Coldenhoff, the local star, the hero of the Motocross of Nations, put in a colossal first lap and pulled well clear. But confusion was to follow, especially at the huge Galaxy jump. It was absolutely riddled with parked vehicles, desperate riders, nobody going anywhere very quickly. But Milko Potisek, winner at the 2K at the beginning of the season, did make a move. The Frenchman got to the front on his Yamaha and looked possibly to have it in the bag. But after a very late pit stop, number 91 on the Red Bull KTM, Nathan Watson closed in dramatically on the Yamaha, and within sight of the flag, he dived past Potisek on the right-hand side, beat him to the checkered flag and took the win.
Just over 3 minutes to go before we get the Red Bull Knockout 2018 underway. In just over 2 hours' time, we will crown a champion. Will it be Billy Bolt, Manny Lettenbeckler or Josep Garcia? And remember, the favourite for me on the sand is Nathan Watson. We caught up with both Nathan and Billy earlier on.
Yeah, I hope so. Obviously, I've done it twice. I'm experienced at this race. Yeah, I've had some good success here, but keep finishing second and getting tired of it. So yeah, I want to be on that top step.
And it would mean a lot as well to win an actual round of the West Series. And this is the one. Beach racing is your speciality, Nathan.
Yeah, definitely. I've been looking forward to this one since the start of the season. So, you know, it's my favourite type of race. I love it, and yeah, I want to go out with a good result.
Western was good practice, but I think this is definitely another level, to be honest. It's so much deeper, that it is so much crazier, to be honest. It is definitely eye-opening out there how dangerous it is with the other riders, the lapped riders, because they're going so slow and it's so soft. They can barely go in a straight line, and you're trying to pass them flat out. It's so sketchy. So main plan is to just finish in one piece safely today. I think if we can avoid trouble, crashes, and other people, that the result should be good enough. So just try and stay safe and get home to the finish line.
We're looking for the ultimate enduro rider. What would it mean to you to be the first ever West champion, Billy?
It'd be huge, you know, like you say, it is a mixture of so many different disciplines. It's been a long championship with lots of races, lots of different kind of races. So to you know, to be at the top come the end would just be massive. You know, we've worked hard in the last year, improved so much from where I started enduro just a few years ago. So it's just relieving that everything's paying off and everything's working. So it'd be nice, that's for sure.
We're pretty much ready to go down here. As you can hear behind me, the riders have fired up their engines. Believe me, there is an incredible atmosphere when you've got 750 bikes all giving it the beans on the start line. Now, we've got to get out of the way. Guiding you through the race action this afternoon, three legends, Jack Bernacle, Rob Warner, and a man who should have been racing today but is out through injury, Jonny Walker.
It is indeed Mr. Jonathan Walker alongside me here in the comms booth, and the size 12 feet of Rob Warner. We've somehow shoehorned him in as well for the next couple of hours of red-hot action. We've virtually got two races in one. We've got to find out who's going to win the Red Bull Knockout of 2018, and we've got to find out who's going to be crowned the World Enduro Super Series champion. Definitely the boy from Wallsend in Tyneside, Billy Bolt, is the pre-race favourite as far as Wes is concerned, the World Enduro Super Series crown. But that man we glimpsed, number 91, Nathan Watson, second on the last two occasions here at the Red Bull Knockout, and second at the 2K on bike number 91, the Red Bull KTM, in February of this year, will be looking to finally get onto the top step of the box. Jonny Walker, do you have a pre-race favourite here? Can you give us one?
Yeah, hello everyone. It's nice to be here, and yeah, Nathan Watson's my number one favourite for this win. This is where my money is on him. So I think if all goes well for him, he should be able to put it on the top spot.
He did have a phenomenal battle with Glenn Coldenhoff in 2016, which he actually edged the Hoff out of, so that lies in his favour. He won the qualifier. The start is going to be so crucial here. Off the line, it was a Red Bull KTM that got a good jump over the gate, and it was Coldenhoff who was the man who led this morning. I think it might be that there's Nathan Watson getting that weight as far back over the back wheel as he possibly can as they hit the 2 kilometre straight. And all of them pretty cleanly away, but the men at the front are the men who count. And if you're not at the front, then you get a fearsome bombardment from the shells and the sand. It's a Yamaha who's grabbed the whole shot.
Yeah, it looks like Nathan Watson on the left, on the outside. He always rides on the on the waterline than it is higher up the sea.
And at 2:59, Glenn Coldenhoff, we expected him to make a ripping start once again, and both of those Red Bull KTMs, there's Coldenhoff, and in between them, you could see the number 65 of Victor Brossier, who surprised us with his speed in qualifying this morning. Look how rough this stuff is. There's been no smoothing out here since the qualifier.
I mean, Jack, how fast are they going down that start straight? 2 kilometres, and it's just gone by in a matter of seconds. Here they are into the rough stuff already.
100 miles an hour they're topping down there. That's just fearful stuff. Coldenhoff has got the start, and this is what the opposition perhaps didn't want to see, because they can't let him escape too far and do a bit of a hurlings from 2016.
Everyone's going to have to try and stay with him now as best they can. Already rough from qualifying this morning, this track, but you're desperate to be out the front because they're going to get to some stoppers on this opening lap where there's going to be some bottlenecks, so the lead riders have got to get through. And the sand ever so deep here, Johnny.
Yeah, it's definitely difficult, and Coldenhoff, you know, you can see him pushing really hard, and that's Nathan, I think, behind him. And he's going to push so hard early on in the race because this is what he's good at, you know, his overall speed out front.
Doubling through these massive whoops. I mean, yeah, incredible. These two battled here in 2016. Looks like it might be the same today.
Nathan Watson, he tends to go for it very early on, doesn't he, Johnny? He says you can kind of hang on by the skin of your teeth late in a race, but you just put everything into that first hour and a half.
Yeah, definitely. He's definitely got to stick with Coldenhoff here because he's riding motocross all the time. You know, his pace is really fast early on, you know, for the first 30 minutes, and then I'm not going to say...
Where's Johnny? What happened? We didn't see Nathan Watson come over that brow just there. For a horrible moment, I thought he'd gone down, but certainly he didn't. He wasn't as close to Coldenhoff as I expected. There's the Hoff giving it big airtime over the finish tabletop.
Yeah, I wonder if Nathan's gone down. He's not on there.
And, you know, Jack, what sort of form is Coldenhoff on? He beat Jeffrey Hurlins at the last race of Motocross of Nations a few weeks ago.
His Motocross of Nations performance at Red Bull in the USA was simply sensational. He blew the world away in 2 races, and they really never saw which way he went. There is Watson. I'm glad to say he's just made a bit of a meal of something, but he's still in there behind Coldenhoff. Look at Coldenhoff. Look at the accuracy with which he's able to deal with those.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
Through there,
triples.
Doubling through those, unbelievable in this deep sand like that.
Oh, there's a nice smooth bit of the track. You can relax.
Dutchman, of course, accustomed to riding sand, as all their tracks are generally fairly sandy, it being a fairly sandy country. The rain just beginning to come. Jentel Martins running in 3rd place on the Rockstar Husqvarna. So Jentel Martins appearing, and he is a bit of a threat. He's the joint leader with Milko Potizek of the French Sand Racing Championship after the first 2 rounds at Berck-sur-Mer and Lune Plage. Incidentally, Watson finished 2nd in the opening round of that series.
That was Billy Bolt just come through then, so he's running up front, and there's Manny behind him, so...
Well, that's the 2 going for the World Enduro Super Series title today, so we'll keep an eye on those for the afternoon.
Yeah. If you watch Nathan on here, he'll go right to the sea, the waterline, where the sand's a bit harder than it is on the inside, because they were telling me there's a lot of ruts, and the bike's getting crossed in the ruts because it's so hard packed the sand there.
Yeah, Robbie Maddison told us that. He said that, like, he was riding at 100k down the straight and riders just literally crashing out for no apparent reason, just because the rut's grabbing them. So, but look at the bike just aquaplaning down there, and look how big the tanks are. How many fuel stops do we know these guys are doing this afternoon? Because that's going to be pretty critical.
The KTMs have 14-litre tanks. The Husqvarna's 12.5 litre, and the Huskies therefore definitely have to do 2 stops. But KTM, Johnny, think they might get away with 1?
Yeah, I think they've done a lot of homework, and they've told me they're only going to go for 1 stop, and the Husky guys, when I spoke to them, so like Billy, he's going to go for 2 stops just to make sure, you know, for the championship that he brings it home.
This is Jentel Martins. He is the son of the 1993 World 500cc motocross champion, Jackie Martins, almost as tall as the 6'4" Jackie as well. Jentel Martins, joint leader of the French Sand Racing Championship, won his first major sand race, the opening round at Berck-sur-Mer, just 3 weeks ago. So he's on form. He's running in 3rd place ahead of Camille Chapelier. Axel van der Sande, the 2015 winner, is in 5th place. Greg Smets, son of 5-time world motocross champion Joel Smets, in his first ever sand race meeting, is in 6th place ahead of Milko Potizek. Jamie McCanny, the Manxman, is 8th. Damon Martins, no relation, is 9th. Sven van der Meerden in 10th place. Checking further down, Steve Ramon, double world motocross champion, running in 16th place. Joseph Garcia in 18th place, Billy Bolt in 20th, Todd Kellett, winner of the Western Beach Race just a couple of weeks ago for the 3rd time. He's running in 21st place, and he and his dad Nibs are headed back overnight to compete at Skegness in the beach race there in Lincolnshire tomorrow. Complete and utter madness. So Coldenhoff barking his way round at the front. This is Nathan Watson, former winner of the Western Beach Race. And the reason that Nathan so enjoyed getting the better of Milko Podisek this morning in that qualifier was that Podisek beat him in the at Le Touquet in February. So they're old mates out on the track.
And Nathan, his dad, they must be the only father-son duo to ever win Western?
Yes. Rob Meek won it, Nathan's father won it 5 times, including a hat-trick.
A beach race specialist.
Time, beating Dave Thorpe, who was a 3-time world motocross champion. You can see some people don't get into quite as racy a pose as others. Do you like to get crouched down to a road racing pose on the 2 kilometre straight, John?
Yeah, I do. Just it looks good for the pictures. As long as you look good, you feel good, right?
Does it? And then
look at them coming through. Can you see Coldenhoff on the left there coming through all the carnage?
I mean, they're already into the back markers. This is the carnage of beach racing that's starting to unfold already.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to come through. If you make a mistake, you know, and you lose a bit of time, someone crashes into you, you know, there's so much can go wrong in that short period of time.
And of course, you've got to look after the bike in these conditions. You know, they're water-cooled. The radiators get full of sand. They're not going that fast, so the bikes overheat quite easily. The clutches go through it. There's a lot going on out there. A lot of reasons to stay out of trouble for sure.
Yeah, the guys at KTM, they have like hose pipes. So as soon as you come in, they'll give the radiators a little clear out, and then they'll be off again.
You'll see a few bikes steaming up this afternoon. Look like they put the kettle on.
Glenn Coldenhoff, you've got in the lead at the moment. You've got to make some. You must have to make some pretty split-second and late decisions as to which way to go round opponents who you're lapping. They don't really know how much control they've got over the motorcycle themselves, or let alone where they're going to go.
It's so difficult because they're swerving. You know, it's not like they're doing it on purpose, but you know, it's so hard to ride in the sand. If you put a bit too much weight on the front, you know, it'll pull over to one side, and if you're committed to that line, there's nowhere that you can really go apart from into someone. So definitely makes it difficult. So seeing there go through that gap, you know, he's probably doing what, 190 miles an hour now, swerving through people.
Well, certainly kilometres per hour. They're topping the ton in old-fashioned ton-up terms and UK terms.
Look at that thing.
Look at that. When at the end of dinner last night, I said to him, "Good luck tomorrow. Enjoy yourself." And he said, "I'm already enjoying myself." He just loves this whole weekend. So Coldenhoff then rip. Oh, and has a collision. That's just an indication of what can happen. Who could have predicted that rider would have virtually high-sided himself into Coldenhoff's path in that left-hander?
Bounced off Coldenhoff.
Yeah.
Didn't bother him one bit.
Oh, another one just down in front of him.
Yeah, it's pretty hazardous out there, you've got to say. Especially with these blind dunes they come over at such pace, these leaders, you know.
This is 2 hours of maximum concentration.
And they've already done that qualifier this morning as well. That won't be bothering these
come in and sort out our timing.
top MXGP boys, though. Well, they don't race for 2 hours straight like this. But
yeah,
look out.
He's going to push such a fast pace early on because he's so used to, you know, like going hard for 30 minutes. And yeah, he's not going to get slower later on, but I think someone like Nathan will pull through a little bit then later on in the race.
And how incredibly comfortable does he look in the sand, though? I mean, all these guys from Belgium and Holland, they ride these conditions a lot, but, well, Garcia down in 21st.
Is he the first of the Wes? Yeah, he's the first of the Wes, and then Billy's second in the championship.
Well,
so.
fast house or not, sometimes the good times just roll to a halt, and the best thing to do is just sit there and gather your breath. And he doesn't seem to mind people going past left and right.
I get his feeling right there when he's sitting in the sand and he's just had a big one.
Yeah.
You know how he feels. Well, whoa, and this could be the moment.
Whoa, he went down pretty hard.
Well ducked, Glenn.
Coldenhoff caught his handlebar there, and that's what knocked him off.
Was it really what knocked him off? There was actually contact.
He was playing around with his tear-offs, and I guess he was just getting a clear vision, and then when he looked up, you know, that guy will have been there.
Coldenhoff almost completely doing the finish line. Whoopsie-daisy, fellas. Just sort yourselves out there. Oh, that gentleman's finally picked himself up. Had a breather.
Yeah, that's one of the steamers already. Bike boiling up.
One, I don't know whether the bike made it through, by the way, but one of the... Who was that in trouble? One of the bikes out on track this morning was a 1988 RM Suzuki, one of the old yellow frame jobs. Good to see. So Glenn Coldenhoff leads at the moment. Jentel Martens has moved into second place ahead of Nathan Watson. So Husqvarna splits the two Red Bull KTMs. Camille Chapelier in fourth place. Lars van Berkel moves fifth. Greg Smet still sixth ahead of, beg your pardon, Milko Podisek goes fourth ahead of Chapelier. And Axel van der Sande moves through because, of course, these guys have the choice whenever they want of using the Joker lane.
Yeah,
so some guys are going to use it earlier than others.
Yeah, that's the thing, and you can't really tell, but you can see that Coldenhoff has got a 24-second lead already, so he's pushing a hard pace, but the other guys maybe went through the Joker lane early on.
That's right, yeah. Keep an eye on Van der Sande.
He
has one here before.
Out, please.
Long way to go in this race. A lot of things can happen, that's for sure.
This was the start, and all the front men got a really good skip over the gate. None better than Coldenhoff. The rest of the lads left to foot their way through, and some of them falling straight away as they come off the line, which doesn't help. I would be one of those sensible ones at the back, waiting for everybody else to clear off. Just sit there and get a clear run. '91, a good start for Nathan Watson, straight away getting his foot right back over that rear wheel to get as much drive from that back wheel as he possibly can.
That is what you call hanging out the back.
Yeah.
What are the bikes geared? Do they gear the bikes differently today, Johnny, for that long straight?
Sorry?
Do they gear the bikes differently? Have they got a higher top speed than
they
usual?
Will, yeah, they'll do a bit, but they don't want to go too much, you know, so and then it's not that good in the rest of the track, because you can gear your bike up too much that it doesn't rev hard enough, you know, to pull the gears. So you can go too much. I've been too much in the past, so.
And then that makes it hard on the rest of the track. You've got a big first gear, more stress on the clutch.
Yeah, you've got a high first gear, but also your bike's not revving at the top, so you're not actually pulling a faster speed than the bike that's revving full gas.
I suppose that's the thing you only learn from experience, is how to gauge the best compromise on gearing.
I seen Coldenhoff had put a bit on Instagram the other day. He was testing his bike in this wood. He was absolutely flying top gear.
I saw that, yeah. Wasn't much room for error in the trees either at what looked like 100 miles an hour.
And the rain that was threatened this morning has now arrived this afternoon, rather unkindly, just to make things just that little bit trickier when it comes to vision.
That's going to make the visibility a nightmare, yep. Wet sand sticking on your goggles. And you don't want to be riding around here without goggles. It's almost not an option, really.
Coldenhoff setting a scalding pace. He's almost broken the 4-minute barrier. 4 minutes, 1.99 seconds on that last lap. That is a wicked time. That's about 10 seconds quicker than people were doing this morning during qualifying. And look at the style of the man. The 27-year-old Hoff is riding on a wave of confidence. That was just the most sensational, unexpected performance at Red Bull, in the Motocross of Nations, when he just hammered to victory in both his races. Nobody else really got to see where he'd gone. So he comes into this race in a real ring of confidence. Watson in second place, 4 minutes 17, not a good lap for him. Milko Podisek, 4 minutes 18, is behind him in fourth place. This is number 57, Billy Bolt. He's the would-be World Endurance Super Series champion. He's running in 20th place at the moment.
And let's not forget, you know, Western Supermare Beach Race, very comparable to this, not part of the Wes Series, but he finished third, which I thought was incredible, really, because
marvellous,
you know the sand is a specialist environment, and he rides it brilliantly. Billy does,
and that was it. That was his debut as a sand racer.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, incredible. I mean, yeah,
he's looking so comfortable there now, just jumping everything, you know.
He's a big, solid lad. He says he doesn't like being 15 stone, but he's pretty much always been, even during his trials days. Look at Coldenhoff having the audacity to double up through the traffic, finding himself a clear route down the right-hand side.
Look how hard he's working, yeah. Balance to ride in the sand like that.
Yeah, if you jump in stuff like that, you definitely save energy, you know, later on in the race than if you're rolling through everything, clutching it all the time. It'll go hard on the bike, that.
At the Hawkston Park International early this year, February of this year, he led Hurlings until the very end of the main final race. Just a fabulous performance. He is a great rider of sand.
Most of them are from this part of the world, I reckon. Hey?
He's lean and fit. He said if he lacks anything, it's strength. He's quite a slim-built lad.
He looks quite strong to me out there.
Yeah, exactly. Axel van der Sande still in 5th place, 6th, up to 6th goes Van Berkel. Maxime Sott is in number 69 in 7th place. Damon Martins in 8th, Jamie Bacani 9th, Jeffrey de Wolf moves up. Camille Chapelier is dropping down, and I just wonder if something's happened to Chapelier on the number 2 Red Bull KTM.
Todd Kellett's on his way up. 12th place for him now.
Yeah, Kellett's moving.
The Western Beach Race winner for the last 3 years. Can he mix it with Glenn Coldenhoff?
There's some of these guys can't help but become motorcyclists, can they? I mean, Nibs Kellett, his dad, was a trials rider, and the kid was on a quad bike at 2.5, riding around their little Somerset ranch. Always going to be problems for anybody who's not. There's a lot of really competent club riders out here who really do astonishingly well as the boys who really absolutely struggle.
I mean, that's been the essence of the WES series, though, that the top, well, the amateurs, the riders who go out for fun can rub shoulders with the world's very best professionals, and certainly here today, look at Glenn. That guy might have rubbed shoulders a little bit closer than he'd like with Glenn Coldenhoff as he bounced down the beach, but the option's there. But Coldenhoff building a good lead now. He's worrying for the rest of the field.
He's just past Gomez, who's in the WES Championship, so. He's maybe struggling because he's got a bad knee still. It's still not good.
Gomez is coming back from injury, isn't it? That's Alfredo Gomez.
Yeah, he was showing us last night his knee he can't fully straighten it and can't fully bend it, so not really the best thing for the sand.
No, that's right.
Alfredo Gomez currently in 62nd place in this race. There's number 63, Jentel Martins, running in 2nd place. Brilliant victory, his first major sand race victory at Berck-sur-Mer at the opening round of the French Sand Racing Championships. Beat Milko Potezek into 3rd place, and then Milko beat Jentel into 3rd place in the 2nd round, so they're actually level at the top of that series. But Martins, he looks so like his dad on a bike. Really very similar lanky style. When you've got legs like that, it's almost like having extra... Well, you've got pretty lanky legs, both of you, haven't you? It's like having extra suspension.
Does it help you a lot in the sand when you're riding, Rob?
It's been a while since I did a beach race, but yeah, when you get stuck, they come in handy.
Yes, nothing like a good long
like a big crane pulling my bike out.
Must be handy in your trials form as well. We're going to take a quick break here from the action on the beach at The Hague, but the Red Bull knockout will continue unabated, and we'll be back very, very shortly to see if Glenn Coldenhoff can retain this pace.
Full throttle into the world of Red Bull. Motorsports at its finest, all over the globe. Make it your world and download the app for free. Red Bull TV is available on all your devices, anywhere, at any time. Go beyond the ordinary. Get the app now.
The WRC Australia is man and machine.
Rally Australia, the last stage of the 2018 season. World Rally Championship on Red Bull TV. One's a professional, one's an amateur. Both are hardcore.
The passion and the love for racing and for bikes, this is what puts us next to each other.
Follow Tadej Blazusiak and Andy Nokley as they prepare to compete in one of the toughest extreme endurance races in the world. Parallel Universe, Red Bull Hare Scramble. Now available on Red Bull TV.
Welcome back to the Red Bull Knockout 2018, and welcome back to the site of Glenn Coldenhoff, coming to the end of the 2 kilometre straight and also towards the end of his 5th lap. with a handsome lead of about 47 seconds at the moment over Jentel Martens. Nathan Watson just 3 seconds, less than 3 seconds adrift of the tall, lanky Belgian. And then Milko Podisek running in 4th place ahead of Axel van der Sande. Milko Podisek, of course, the cousin of the late Timotej Podisek, who won this race in 2008, 10 years ago. Also was a twice winner at the Enduro 2K on the northern coast of France, which was kind of the daddy of all these amazing events, really, launched back in the early 1970s. Glenn Coldenhoff was, at the moment, guys, he looks superlative. I know that there are any amount of things that could just go wrong at any conceivable moment, but he does look very smooth, very comfortable, not taking a lot out of himself.
Just flowing, isn't he? Looks brilliant. But, you know, he is one of the top motocross riders on the planet right now, in probably one of his favourite, I'd imagine. Going, sand, deep sand.
He actually, this is his last race for the factory Red Bull KTM team, but so he'd obviously like to go out on a high. He moves to the standing construct KTM team in Motocross Grand Prix next year, alongside our very own Max Anstey, who has only just signed up with them, actually, having looked as if he may not have a ride. He now has a ride as teammate to Coldenhoff, so they'll be a strong team together.
That chap ended up a long way from his bike. Looks like he's picked himself up.
Incidentally, although that picture doesn't particularly show it, there's a massive crowd here from first thing this morning, from the start of the qualifier. Huge swathes of people of all ages, shapes and sizes were plastered along the prom. Look at this for every possible vantage point, and just enjoying the carnage, really. All of these men become an entertainer for the day, however fast or slow they go. Oh, that the spinning wheel just reminded me for a moment that Johnny buried that vehicle we were travelling in yesterday, didn't he? When we went
well, I wouldn't have brought it up, Jack, but no, it was a little embarrassing. Let's just say that Jonny Walker's no Toby Price, is he, with his truck driving?
Stick to 2 wheels. Well, saying that.
I'd stick to 2 wheels.
I'm in commentary now. I'd be good on 2 wheels.
You've gone from 4 to 2 to commentary. It's not been a good year.
You seem to have one position for the throttle, which was on the floor, which just buried the back wheels, mate.
It is. If you're not going hard enough, there's no point going at all, is there, really?
Jamie McCanny, then, a former World Enduro champion who's really becoming quite a hot rider. He was finished 9th at the 2K. He's finished 3rd a couple of years back at the Western Beach Race. McCanny's really adapting well to beach racing. He enjoys it.
Yeah, they do a lot of riding back at home on the Isle of Man on the beach, so
yeah,
they are really good in the sand. Both him and his brother Danny, really good in the sand.
Billy Bolt then still very much in the driving seat as regards the World Enduro Super Series title, the first crown to be awarded in this wonderful championship that has made an actual aim of not interfering with the basic nature of the events, but just taking in all the different disciplines of enduro, the very extreme enduros, the old-fashioned card enduros. Everything's been involved, and that's why we've had so many different winners. Sadly, Wade Young and Sherko aren't here this weekend because Wade is the only guy who's actually won 2 events during the course of the season.
So diverse are the events been that make up the series. Josep Garcia.
This kid is 21 years old, inspired by Ivan Cervantes. He actually went road racing for a year, did the Red Bull Rookies at the MotoGP circuits for a year, and then went back to motocross, decided he did enjoy off-road more. But this is his first beach race and his first ever race on a 450. I mean, talk about learning things quick. How many things do you need thrown at you? Here, son, here's a 450 for the first time. There's a beach. Go out and race it with 700 other guys.
But, you know, after you saw him after qualifying, big smile on his face, he's loving it.
Yeah, he's
absolutely loving it.
He's like that every race, you know, when we go back to the pits, he's wild.
And the winner of Hawkstone, the Wes round in Hawkstone, so we know he's got form in the sand.
And at the moment, this guy, Manuel Lettenbichler, still running in 2nd place in the championship. His dad, Andreas, of course, was a fabled veteran now, retired veteran now with extreme and hard enduro. But Lettenbichler's getting speed as well. He must be working on his speed, I think.
And you've got to say, though, I mean, we saw his thumb at dinner the other night, and, you know, from the Gotland race, the last round of the Wes, he only got back on a bike on Tuesday for the first time since that race, and his thumb, he ripped the nail off at Gotland. Can you imagine the mud that got in it? He said he had to change his gloves and remove his nail. And as he said it, we all flinched. But yeah, he's only been back on bike a few days. First time on a 450 as well. So he's doing well out there, but honestly, he said it's really hard to hang on with that thumb. It's really painful for him.
And that Gotland Enduro, ladies and gentlemen, that was an old-school Swedish 3-hour event with 3,000 riders involved, and it was filthy wet, horrible monsoon weather. It was a race
for pigs, really, wasn't it? It was like a...
It was very nasty.
Disgusting, wasn't it?
And it was dominated by native Swedes, but it was... Billy Bolt managed to rescue 13th place, but poor Lettenbichler ended up 43rd, so that's where he lost a lot of ground on the Englishman.
Coldenhoff was stretches leading. Oh, he's up to nearly 50 seconds.
That's a fair lead.
The lap times are consistent. He's just done a 4.6, a 4.5.7 for Jentel Martins.
They are. That's him getting caught up. That's what can go wrong so quickly, though.
Yes.
Changes lines, and the people in front of him change lines as well. He's not sunbathing. He's had enough, this fella.
Just practicing heavy breathing. Coldenhoff once again goes for the major kick.
Look at the pace of them down this straight. Phenomenal. So much water as well. You think the straight's going to be pretty relaxing. It's not really. The bike's just squirming around under you as it aquaplanes on the wet sand and the water.
This is Damon Martins, the lad who isn't related to the Martins family, but we know how quick he is because he's performed really strongly here before now. Damon Martins, 23 years old, Belgian, and he won the 2K in 2017, so we know how quick he is as a sand racer.
I wonder if the other guy, like who's taking the joke lane and who hasn't, whether Coldenhoff has actually taken it.
That's right, they've got to do it four times during this 2 hour.
And intriguingly, how do you remember what Todd Kellett has done? He's got 4 pieces of white tape on his handlebar and he's going to rip one off every time he does the joker lane, because he said, otherwise I'm quite likely to be thinking, have I done the joker lane 3 or 4? Do I need to do it again?
I reckon that might have been his dad Nibs' idea.
I think so.
Taking care of business. Kellett now into the top 10, so right behind Jamie McCanny there.
So at the moment, as we catch a glimpse of guys tonking down the 2-kilometre straight, probably the most enjoyable part of the whole game, it's Coldenhoff, Martins, Watson, Potizek, Van der Sande, Damon Martins, Maxime Sott, Jeffrey de Wolf, Jamie McCanny, Todd Kellett are the top 10. Camille Chapelier in 11th place. Steve Ramon, double world motocross champion, 39 years old now, in fact almost 40. Ramon in 12th place ahead of Lars van Berkel. Billy Bolt in 15th, Greg Smets 17th. Greg Smets has a right hand injury from an accident, a motocross accident 3 weeks ago. And even when a feeble creature like myself shook him vigorously by the hand earlier today, he had, don't grip me quite as hard as that.
It's your fearsome grip, Jack.
It must be. Doesn't it bother you when you ride? And typically, just like his dad, oh, it's all right. These guys don't know the meaning of pain sometimes.
Hey, you want to be out there, actually,
Johnny,
didn't you?
I beg your pardon. I beg your pardon. Jonathan, you did suffer some pain with that. How is the wrist? Are things coming on?
Yeah, it's good. It's been 7 weeks now. I've had 2 operations on it. One outside fixation plate, and then flew home, got some metal plates put on the inside of my wrist, on my left arm, some plates in my right hand, and I got nothing done with my shoulder. But yeah, I'm happy with it. I've started riding last week, just slowly, but yeah, it's good. I wish I was out there racing. I wish it never happened, obviously, but it's racing.
So you'll be coming back into this series, obviously, fully focused and fit next year.
Yeah, I honestly can't wait for it to start again. When they said that they were doing this championship with like all these different races, I was so excited. And
you were leading the series when you crashed out.
Yeah, that's the worst thing about it. You know, having a lead in, having a nice little lead, having to, you know, like I was hoping I could get back within a few weeks, but it never happened. It was worse than what it was. So.
Well, we wish you a restful winter and a speedy recovery from that.
There's no resting. As soon as I'm back riding, I'm going to go hard.
You live in Andorra now, which is the playground for road racers and off-roaders alike.
Yeah, it's amazing. There's so many people there, so many people to ride with, and yeah, it's so good with the weather and that. So now there's a bit of snow, so I don't know what I'm going to do.
Nip down to Spain?
Yeah, we could do.
There's a man's
Look at his goggles. He's not having the best goggles situation there.
No.
they're the worst things, you know. If that happens, see the guy there we just passed, stood on the side. That's one of the KTM trainers. He'll be looking out, seeing where everyone's at, and reporting back to the paddock, I guess.
What? How do you mean? One of the telling them where?
Yeah, so
not
basically,
saying, excuse me, he looks worn out.
No, we've got a trainer, and I guess all the teams have got their trainer or a spotter out there, and he's there with like a headset, and he'll report back to the pits, or maybe he's there to tell them to go in the joker lane or something like that. I'm not too sure because I didn't speak to them before, but
that, to be fair, it'd be a very, very easy thing to forget, that joker lane, you know?
Yeah, sure. When
you're in the heat of battle,
yeah,
you've seen it. We've seen it in.
They do it in Supercross.
That's right, and it's been missed out.
When Villapoto could have won the million and he missed the
joker lane in Vegas,
the million.
Exactly. That was an expensive mistake.
We haven't had any evidence of anybody going into the joker lane yet, an effect on their lap times, although Billy Bolt was saying last night that he would prefer to do it early while the joker lane was fairly smooth and perhaps not so many people in it.
It's not particularly long, is it? I mean, it's not going to put... It's a pretty nip in and out off that start straight if you don't get stuck.
Yeah, it's surely only like 20 seconds. I would rather do it later on when the field's spread out a bit, you know, and there's obviously be riders dropping out and that.
The X-Loop will be opening up, you know, what, in 20 minutes time or so, and that's where you got all those logs and those, what I would call some news stoppers to really maybe halt the progress of some of these riders as well. It's not going to get any easier for the last hour of this race.
This is Victor Brossier shot, and now we're looking at Nancy van der Ven, this brilliant young woman. Oh, she lost the Women's World Motocross Championship at the last race in Italy by 8 points. Second time she's finished runner-up in that series and lost it to Fontanesi, the Italian girl. So Nancy van der Ven, bless her, she keeps on. That's her ambition to win that Women's World Championship, and it just hasn't quite happened yet.
Impressive pace here in the sand.
Yeah, well, she was 54th in the qualifier this morning, so she beat a fair few men, considering 1,000 people set out. And I think, incidentally, we forgot to mention earlier, Robbie Maddison, sadly, has got disqualified from this final because he rolled through the pit lane this morning during the qualifier, and you're not allowed to do that. You have to push your motorcycle through there. But Robbie, we believe, is with Chenny down there on track. So, Chenny, if you've got hold of the great Australian freestyle motocrosser, over to you.
Well, fellas, I'm down in the pit lane with one of my absolute heroes who should have been riding today, Robbie Maddison. Maddo, I shouldn't laugh. What happened?
I missed the riders' meeting. There's a strict rule that no riding in the pit, and you know, you think of Holland here, people ride around on motorcycles on the footpath. I thought for sure we could ride here, but other beach races you are allowed to. I broke the rules. I think, you know, it's fair that I follow them. So I'm out. It's unfortunate, but I learned the hard way.
It's good. You get to hang out with me in the pit lane, man.
You know what? I think it's a blessing in disguise because the track out there is absolutely brutal. I saw some crazy crashes when I was out there. So props off to these guys. You know, hats off. I mean, but these guys are insane riders, and a new level of respect for them from my perspective.
Yeah, let's go for a little wander down through the pit lane. It is, without doubt, the toughest beach race on planet Earth. And of course, you would have qualified had you not been excluded. So you've got an idea of how difficult that is. And we've not even got to the X-Loop yet.
Yeah, I mean, the track when I was out there, it's very soft sand from something like Western Beach Race. So it gets very hard to navigate through. You've got to carry a lot of momentum. The bumps form quickly. It's really insane. The section where the whoops are, they cup out on the backside. There's so many opportunities for you to lose control and go over the handlebars. I was actually going down the straightaway at full speed, and the guy just cartwheeled in front of me. So it's tricky down there. Even the straightaway, which probably looks smooth, it's so unpredictable what is going to happen at any moment.
We love it. Quick word on Billy Bolt and Manny Lettenbichler. It's been a great year for them. Both worthy champions. Who's your money on that?
Man, I like Billy. We just met, and he's a great guy, a phenomenal rider. So if he wins, I'll be stoked for him.
Maddo, you're a legend. Thank you very much, my man. Cheers. Back to you boys in commentary.
Robbie Maddison, then, a man who's done a lot of thoroughly jokey things that any normal person would think about, like jumping and a backflip over the open Tower Bridge in London. Who wouldn't give a bash at that? By the way, I've talked to him about knee replacements, and they say he's too young, bless him, but he certainly needs one, and needs one soon.
Yeah, he's put it all out there, Robbie, during his career. He's a modern-day Evel Knievel, isn't he?
He's absolutely that. That's the best way to describe him.
He really is, yeah.
Right,
he's incredible. And he still comes back for more.
Yeah, there's no. It's a bit of it's motorcycles, isn't it? It kind of gets
hard to give
under
it
your
up
skin
once
and
you're
into
in.
your blood.
That's Manny that we've got on screen now, and he's gone off now. But he looked like he's riding solid, you know, with a bad thumb. And that's Nathan.
Depth of those. I mean, that's hard going through there like that. Landing on the face of the next jump. Still moving though.
Yeah, he's going good. I think he'll hook a few more gears later on in the race and start pulling back some time.
And, you know, Nathan's an enduro rider. Will the X-Loop help him with the logs and stuff? That's probably going to play more to him than to, say, Coldenhoff.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to make a little bit of a difference, you know, when they get into there, because, you know, it's an hour in there. So when it all gets dug out, the logs are going to get dug out a lot. So he'll have a little bit more experience than some of the other riders to say, you know, so he should be more confident through there.
Nathan, you forget that he's been a Red Bull Pro National Champion a couple of times in the UK in the 85cc class, and he's also won a Maxis British Motocross Championship race. Yeah. He's raced at a high level in MXGP for Kimi Räikkönen's team. He's got a lot of quality time as a motocrosser. We'll take a quick break again. We've still got a huge amount of time to go. The Red Bull Knockout 2018.
Ready, set. Start. The toughest kind of motorbiking. An insight into the disciplines, terminology, and how it all began.
Hard for your head, hard for your body, hard for your back, and all this hard enduro.
The ABC of hard enduro, now available on Red Bull TV.
The biggest, longest running, and most prestigious breakdance crew competition is back. B-boys and B-girls from all over the world celebrating one culture, hip-hop. Snipes Battle of the Year. Watch live on Red Bull TV.
The Battle of the Bumps is back. No turns, just a half-mile long straight rhythm section. Head-to-head racing action with the best riders driving the evolution of Supercross. Red Bull Signature Series, Straight Rhythm. Now available on Red Bull TV.
Welcome back to the 2018 Red Bull Knockout, and the fastest man on track with an absolutely demonic 4-minute 12-second lap on that last lap, on his 8th lap. Jentel Martens closing the gap a little on the race leader, number 259, Glenn Coldenhoff. Nathan Watson, 4 minutes 31, not able to match his pace on that lap. Drops back a bit in 3rd place. Watson ahead of Milko Potizek, Axel van der Sande, Maxime Scott, Damon Martins, Camille Chapelier and Jeffrey de Wolf. No surprise then with Lars van Berkel in 10th place. The men of the Low Country so dominant when it comes to sand racing. And France, the French of course, since they introduced their own sand racing championship, have inevitably got better and better at it. Or not, as the case may be.
Dig yourself out. Nice light 450 KTM on top of you.
Sven van der Meerden and Greg Smets have just got the better of Todd Kellett, who we were watching just a moment ago, looking very, very good. But he had a long lap on that lap, 4 minutes 57 on that lap. It may have been one of his runs through the Joker lane.
That's an interesting position these two have got themselves into. A few riders coming together.
Meanwhile, the number 68, Damon Martins, running in 7th place. His last lap of 4 minutes 24 flat. As regards the West contenders, Billy Bolt still in the driving seat in 18th place.
Yeah, he's riding solid, really good ride from him, and I'm sure he's going to come stronger towards the end because he's a big lad and he's strong.
That bike's not going to be going for much longer. Fully boiling up that one. Look at it. Either he's really tall or that bike's really small.
I think he's, well, the Dutch are the tallest race in the world, I believe, aren't they?
That's what it is, they are, you're right.
So Wim Schutt, I think it's about time Wim gave his Honda a break, really. Looks like it's gasping for air.
It will break if he doesn't pull over soon, that's for sure.
Put Coldenhoff on the
This is a glimpse of what 160 kilometres per hour looks like along the beach, folks.
Right on the edge of the water where it's smoothest, but quite deep in places. That's pretty gnarly, that is, going along there at that speed.
Yeah, it can actually get quite dangerous. You know where the water comes out, sometimes it makes like a little stream where it keeps going back in, and that can get pretty deep, and you know, when you're doing that speed, it's not nice to hit it.
Now you've seen at Western on those water bars, just riders getting sent over the handlebars at full chat.
Yeah, it's crazy.
A bit like yourself at the at Megawatt.
Yeah, I think mine was a bit funky.
I think yours was, looking by your rims that were folded afterwards, yeah.
Glenn Coldenhoff, whose first ever Grand Prix victory was at Matterley Basin in the British Motocross Grand Prix, in MX2 Grand Prix of 2013.
He keeps just stretching his lead out a few seconds every lap. He to a 1:15
again
lead.
Yeah, 4 minutes 8.4 on that lap. That was a fast lap. That was 30 seconds quicker than Nathan Watson.
There's Jentel Martins and Billy Bolt. Are they battling or no?
Billy's doing what he needs to do to take that, you know, Wes title today, though. It's a strong ride, solid ride for him. He's really, I'd say, it's fair to say that Billy, when he came into Extreme Hard Enduro, was probably a little bit of a hothead. You know what I mean? He was quite young and just went for it. He's calmed down a bit. He's using his brain today, that's for sure.
Yeah, honestly, he adapts to like different riding terrains like sand, you know, so fast. So you can go somewhere and then a few days later he's absolutely rapid. So yeah, he adapts fast.
He is talented.
He says he crashes a lot, and what they always say in road racing is you can teach a lad who falls off quite a lot to just control it a bit, but you can't make a lad who's a bit cautious go any faster.
That's right. The pace was there. He just needed to.
And he's happy to very happy to admit to the fact that he was a crasher until really just this year he used to fall off a lot, even in his trials days. This is Jentel Martins running in second place. And having had that good lap that closed the gap, he's gone from 49 seconds behind to a minute 15, having got himself presumably either taken the joker lane or got into a bit of traffic, and Coldenhoff has just pulled the pin again.
And also, I guess, Jack, it's not completely stupid to say now at this point that riders might be thinking of coming in for fuel or actually nipped in if they're going to do a two-stop strategy this afternoon, which we know some of the riders or most of the riders will have to.
So we're on 1 minute 11 seconds, 1 hour 11 minutes to go, plus one lap. So yeah, the guys are going to have to be thinking about that now, aren't they? Especially the Huskies.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the guys on a standard tank, they'll only do like 40 minutes in the sand. So a guy with a 12-litre tank, you know, maybe get close to an hour, but it'd be risky for the 2 hours. And then the guys with a 14-litre, they should just do the one stop. And I'm not sure, Coldenhoff's got a 14-litre, hasn't he? Yeah, and so has Jentel Martin, so it's going to be close at the end.
Here's Milko Potosek, number 10 on the right of picture.
Look at that.
Wow, and that's Axel van der Sande right behind him. This is the battle alongside 4th and 5th place men. Axel van der Sande, the young Belgian on the left, he was the winner in 2015. We never heard of him. He came from Norway to beat Nathan Watson and the 25-year-old Belgian. Whoa, look at that. He's gone right round the outside of Milko Potosek. Absolutely nailed the Yamaha. Two Yamahas neck and neck.
That was impressive. Watching him come across those ruts there.
He's a cracking rider. I love his team. There's just him and his dad. Just really quiet guys, and they really came and did the business. But look at this. I think Milko's taken the rapid line round the outside of him, and no, he didn't manage to get back. He's still just ahead of him. The two Yamahas again side by side.
Made all the more difficult by the back markers. They've got to find their way around and through.
It is like threading a needle, isn't it, this?
It's unbelievable, though, watching these top riders in the sand, how comfortable they are, and the way they just put the bike wherever they want. Full chat, no problem. Incredible, yeah. And it's rough out there now. I mean, that track is way choppier than it was. It was like a billiard table first thing this morning.
Yeah, it's crazy how rough. They said it got rough so fast in the first race that, you know, they were surprised. I guess that's what happens when it's deep sand.
He's a consistent top 5 finisher on the French sands now. He's never actually won the championship. But he got a bit messed up there. He's really kicking it up high.
Look
Vic
how hard
Eastwood
he goes.
style.
A 2-hour race. He's just absolutely attacking everything.
How do you... The problem is establishing a rhythm across that stuff, Johnny, because once, you know, if you can keep a rhythm going, which requires impeccable timing as well as guts and finesse and sheer resilience, really, to attack it.
Yeah, if you get a rhythm going, you're good, and then as soon as you get out that rhythm, it's so hard to get back in. You know, the confidence all the time. You know, when you're in it, you just keep building confidence, and then something happens, you know, and it just knocks you back to square one. Then you've got to start jumping things again.
So Coldenhoff leads the way at the moment. Second place for Jentel Martins. The gap 1 minute 21. Nathan Watson and 38 seconds further back in third, ahead of the battle between Van der Sande and now fourth, Podisek in 5th place. 6th place for Damon Martins, and then Maxime Sott and Camille Chapelier.
Billy Bolt's now moved up into 15th position. He's closing on McCanny now.
He is, yeah.
He's riding well.
Impressive,
solid.
isn't it? Really impressive watching him ride. And, you know, Billy, he looks like he's well on track at the moment to take the title, the Ultimate Enduro Champion. But like you said, Johnny, so diverse. I mean, he won the last round of the Super Enduro World Series last year. Came out, won his first major event, really outdoor, with the Extreme Lagares. And here he is in the sand as well, inside the top 15. I mean, it's incredible.
Yeah, he's
knockout.
Riding so good. That's what's so good about this championship. You know, it's not just suited to one rider. You've got Coldenhoff now, who's riding awesome out front, but then you can go to like another race where no one else is.
Sorry, that makes me wince every time I see it, Johnny.
Not as much as the bloke who hit the ground.
Yeah. got clipped by Coldenhoff. Oh, that's
he wasn't happy there.
No. Oops.
Did he just get run over?
No, unfortunately the guy skipped across him. I'm here. Please don't jump on me.
Must have seen his wife in.
Oh, you've just reminded me, there was a lady holding up a homemade banner near the start area up on the prom this morning before the qualifier, and it said, "Rick, Mum ist here." Or Mum stat. What stat? Stands here. Mum stands here. Right? Here I am, son, keeping an eye on you. Wonderful.
Well, the X-Loop is about to open, so things are going to get a bit shaken up now.
So once the red lights on the X-Loop turn blue, then that means that will open up. And according to Greg Atkins, he shuts down the other route, so you have no option.
No, there's no easy way around it.
Yeah, there's no easy way to go. So
here
we are
the
on
first rider in.
Sorry?
Yeah. It'll be nice to be the first rider into that Joker lane, or what?
Yes.
Not the Joker lane, sorry, there. The X lane?
The X-Loop, to get it clean, yeah.
This fellow is a survival specialist. He's got water out there. He could live out on that beach for weeks if he had to. And he might have to, actually. There was... the JCB was out digging bikes out the sand after qualifying. They were absolutely buried. You're going to have to get a metal detector out there later. You don't know what you might find.
That's the first time I've ever seen a JCB lifting a bike out of the sand. I've never seen that ever.
It's amazing, isn't it? It'd been backfilled, I think, at the bottom of one of the dunes.
The loop under the famous pier here at the Hague at Scheveningen Beach. Because it's a beautiful, popular resort. It's a superb place to come and visit. Now, here's not necessarily to do this on, of course, and there's the aquaplaning 259. Number 259, Glenn Coldenhoff. He always used to race number 25 until they started mixing, the Belgian-Dutch Championship started mixing MX1 and MX2, and he found that Clément Dessal already had the number 25, and because his racing hero was James Stewart, who used to ride 259 in his youthful heyday, Glenn just took a 9 on the back of his 25 and made it 259, and he's ridden with that ever since. Whoa, look at that. Even when you're right against the water, it's shaking its head, Johnny.
That looks horrible. It's crazy, honestly, the speed. It makes me cringe, actually, knowing what happened to me the other week. Watching these boys, because you never want anything to happen to anyone.
Were you going very fast when you had your accident?
Yeah, I can remember coming out the corner, and I can remember just like hooking a load of gears really fast just to get it high up in the revs, you know, so I could just, like, if anything did happen, I could wheelie.
Yeah.
But I remember I just jumped down a hill a little bit, and as soon as I landed, I hit like I think it was like a concrete bar or something under the sand. So I was basically in top gear. I landed, and as soon as I hit it, it just kicked me over the handlebars. And yeah, I landed miles away from the bike.
And of course, it's speed that can, the sheer momentum these guys are going, it only becomes truly evident when something happens and you're suddenly flying through the air.
You think the sand might be a soft landing, but if you dig in, it's like a meteor landing up, and I dug in and destroyed a shoulder. You know, it ain't a soft landing with any pace to it.
Yeah, it's not like you can like slide or anything like that. You hit the ground, you hit it really hard.
Yeah, exactly. You stop dead, and it's pretty painful, as you know from quite recently, Johnny. Yeah.
So Glenn Coldenhoff 2.59, third place. This is number 26, Joseph Garcia. Garcia was running in about 30th place. In fact, he's moved up to 21st place. Joseph Garcia Montana has moved up to 21st place. His rival for the World Enduro Super Series, Billy Bolt. Where's Billy gone? Can someone just have a quick look for me? Billy Bolt in 19th place, just 2 places ahead of Garcia at the moment. So Garcia acquitting himself amazingly well in his first beach race and his first ride on a 450 KTM. He did, of course, win the Hawkston Park round, the absolutely legendary motocross circuit that first hosted a British Grand Prix back in 1952, and throughout the last century, in fact, was the home of British motocross.
Here's a good one for you, Jack. Little test your knowledge. So, did Nathan Watson's dad, Rob Meek, lead the British Grand Prix at Hawkstone?
No.
For a bit. I read he did. He actually led a Grand Prix at Hawkstone.
Oh, Coldenhoff's just ran.
Whoa, Coldenhoff just
wow. Now there you go.
Fallen rider. So he's got to just heave his bike back. The X-loop's about to open, but that you could see that probably only affected his lead by about half a dozen seconds. But such incidents can always just, well, lead to something just a little bit more. But Glenn Coldenhoff quickly extricates himself.
He had about a minute and 45 seconds to play with, so he should be all right, but he was pretty frantic getting that, he wanted that fella out of the way quick.
So there's where first, second and third placemen are situated at the moment. Second place man, Jentel Martins.
Billy Bolt. Is he riding his way towards the crossbow?
Oh, yes, of course. The crossbow, the first prize is the crossbow. The second prize, the second and third prizes, an entry in a round of the Crossbow Rookie Challenge next year. worth 10 grand each.
I'll tell you what, I'm amazed how choppy that straight is. Western Straight doesn't get that rough. It's softer here.
Yeah, no, it's totally different sand at Western, which is weird to say.
And Billy talked about the fact that he was getting hit so hard by shells as well as sand during the
He said he was in agony after qualifying.
He said, I've never known pain like it. And he asked you to find him a chest protector.
It was only a 6-mile walk back to the hotel to get it for him, but I did it.
So he's wearing your chest protector now?
Yeah, he's got it on. He'd better have it on anyway, because if that was a wasted walk, I'll be having a word later.
I loved it last night at dinner. He was keeping himself up at that meaty 15 stone, this Geordie boy, by nicking food from the South Africans' table. He had a kind of complete second helping of his main course.
He'll burn some calories this afternoon. Don't think he'll put any weight on this weekend. But
a guy who never actually won a youth trials championship, you know, he was always finishing second and third to the likes of Jack Price and Ewan Roberts.
Oh, he's gone down.
Oh, and is this Jentel Martins?
No, it's Billy.
No, it's Billy. That's Billy Bolt has dropped it and may have been overtaken by Garcia, but the moment that we left him, he's dipped off.
Still no drama for the Wes, though, for the
all
overall.
he needs to do is play it safe, and he's got it.
Yeah. He does. We're at halfway mark now through this final, so yeah.
Here we are. We're going to see it. Ryder come across.
Oh my God, that was a big one.
Blimey, that was
if he's broke my chest protector, you'll have to buy me a new one after that.
Johnny, what about getting back into your rhythm when you've had a little get-off like that?
Yeah, it plays in your head a little bit, you know, because you could come over another hump and, like, you could be thinking about that, you know, someone's going to come across in front of you. So it just knocks you off your rhythm a little bit. I think he's pretty confident that he'll be back fast straight away.
Up to the 1 hour mark then. We're at half distance in the 2 hours of the Red Bull Knockout 2018. Glenn Coldenhoff nursing a 1 minute 48 second lead over Jentel Martens, who in turn has a 30-second advantage over Nathan Watson, who in turn is 52 seconds ahead of Milko Potisek. This is the Hoff, Glenn Coldenhoff.
He's looking so good.
Doesn't he?
So smooth.
Absolutely incredible watching him. I mean, so smooth. It almost looks effortless for him.
Yeah, it's like he's taking no risk. He's just like, just Sunday ride out with his mates.
Well, he was the first man to kind of inflict a real defeat on Jeffrey Hurlings in that final race of the Motocross of Nations at Red Bull last month. And that was a pretty heroic feat. But he did it, I'm afraid we hardly saw him because there was so much else going on in the race that Glenn had taken off at the front. And the Dutch, actually, although they'd lost their third man, Calvin Vlanderen, who crashed out in the first race, so his DNF, his did not finish score, had to be added to theirs. Hurlings and he went 1-1-1-2, and that meant that they finished third overall despite not having a third rider, which was quite impressive in the team event.
Very.
And, you know, we saw, I wonder if Jeffrey Hurlings, he has done a lap of this track earlier today. His eyeballs were on stalks, weren't they, in that Dakar car?
He was in the Dakar car with Sebastian Lowe giving it
like
some
he needed
leather.
a sick bag about halfway round.
Never seen Jeffrey look like that.
No.
Look at the way Coldenhoff is riding the bank there just to find a smooth line and keep right out of the way of everybody.
And now
the
he's in.
X-Loop. The X-Loop takes off. Here we go. This is Coldenhoff's first venture into the X-Loop.
And our first look at it,
It's deep. It's surprisingly deep. How it's surprising how deep these holes actually are.
Jentel Martens and Nathan Watson are both pitted. So Coldenhoff now, this is a huge advantage for the KTM. Yeah, they're about 4.5 metres deep. Here is Nathan Watson.
He might have pitted early because he might need goggles. You know, he's better being out there with clean goggles on.
Although that is just past the halfway mark, so if that's his first stop, that means he should make it to the end, right?
And his bike's not fueling by the looks of it.
He's lost something.
He's panicking.
He's panicking. Was it goggles he's looking for?
He's got some.
Let's hope they've been well prepped. That's usually your wife or girlfriend's job, isn't it, Johnny?
Girlfriend's job.
So this is Coldenhoff having got through the first major part of the...
Man down.
And here's those logs that are going to just dig out and get higher and higher off the ground as the afternoon goes on, right through the middle of the X.
You said you wanted to hit it while you'd want to hit it while it was nice and smooth and unused, so it looks fairly straightforward, really, in this condition.
At the moment, it might get worse. This is going to dig out up here,
especially on an uphill with sand on logs.
That might be littered with riders in the lapse time.
That is going to get difficult for sure. Looks so nice, that bit of the sand, doesn't it, man?
It's beautiful.
It's so smooth.
Virgin sand.
We'll see it next lap.
It won't look quite as nice as that.
So we got the French duo, Potisek and Chapelier, in 4th and 5th place. Axel van der Sande just dropped down to 7th place at the moment. Whether or not he's been into the pits, he might have been. His last lap was a 5 minutes 50, so I suspect that he might have pitted. Either that, yes, he has. So Axel van der Sande has been in the pits.
And those pit stops take longer than we think because the riders have to push the bike from the start all the way through that pit lane, which is why Robbie Maddison isn't in this final, unfortunately. He decided he missed the riders' meeting and rode straight to his pit.
There's Coldenhoff on Billy, so I wonder if Billy's been through there or not.
And here's the X-Loop filling up nicely. This, you know, when the leaders come around to this, if there's no way through, they're going to be in as much trouble as anyone, and the race could change in a heartbeat at this point.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky, isn't it?
Yeah. Them logs are going to cause chaos. All looking good with Billy at the moment, though. The bike looks good. He looks good. Survived a pretty big crash.
And, of course, his mechanic, who I was chatting to after qualifying, Lee Edmondson, who they fondly called Stan. His mate, Andy Noakley, that's Billy Bolt's mate, in Rochdale Way, where Billy goes and practices extreme stuff in the Quirm Quarry there. He up on the Pennines. He said that they call him Stan Lee. I said, what do you mean, Stan? It's Lee Edmondson. Yeah, Lee's his Sunday name, he says. The rest of the week call him Stan. But Lee said that...
look at this.
This is going to be a decider, I think.
This is going to decide it.
You look at it. They're queuing up. They've nearly filled the track on top there. The leaders ain't going to want to mess about with that. This is going to be trouble. But that's what it's there for, to shake things up. When you've just about had enough, you get an hour of the X loop. A lot of people got the kettle on in there, Jack.
A lot of 13 laps complete now for Coldenhoff, Jentel Martins, Milko Potisek, Nathan Watson.
There's Paul Bolton riding through there.
Yeah,
we haven't seen much of him.
We haven't we? Where is Bolts? Paul Bolton, who of course is
30th at the moment,
the leading privateer,
30th
place at the moment, bike number 13. Obviously not worried about unlucky 13.
Respectable position, no top 30.
Coldenhoff's just pulled into the pits then.
Did he?
Yeah.
Here he is, yep, walk into the pit.
So Coldenhoff picks a lap later than Nathan Watson.
Look at the quick fill on. Look at that fuel going. No way. Bang. Goggles on and back out there.
These are the guys who were around his table yesterday. And one of them,
incredible.
One of them was working on that bike, on that Red Bull KTM in the pits, the Park Fair made this morning after the qualifier. And he had a kind of Gansey, as we'd call in the northeast of England. Just a kind of zip from it, a kind of cardigan and sweater.
We don't have them down south.
And I said, you look a bit incognito, like it's your kind of Sunday job. And he says, yes, well, you're only supposed to have one mechanic working in the pits, and they notice me less if I've just got my sweater on. They might not realise I'm a second mechanic. Oh, really?
Beach racing. There's a bit of fiddling goes on here and there, I think. Well, that's getting pretty bad now, that X loop.
Coldenhoff's out and back quick, isn't he? So that's he had a big advantage at the moment that he took that break. He had the thick end of 3 minutes.
His heart rate will be through the roof after running up there with his bike.
Yeah.
When you have to run to a start on some enduros, you wouldn't believe how high your heart rate is. You know, just because the guys told you to set off, it's unbelievable.
You can see that at the top one. I had to stop for a breather by the time I got to my bike.
Yeah, I know, you can.
You can see the gap between Jentel Martins and the new third place man, Milko Potisek, is big, about 18 seconds between them. Another 13 back to Nathan Watson.
How smooth does the track look from the helicopter? It looks fun, eh?
Slightly misleading, yeah.
And also, look, there's hardly anybody there. They're all stuck in the X loop. The track suddenly looks empty.
This is going to get interesting now. And this is where, you know, Coldenhoff, MXGP rider, he's not used to logs and people getting stuck. The Wes riders, Billy Bolt, those guys, they are. This is their bread and butter, Johnny, isn't it? They should get through that traffic quicker than say, Coldenhoff.
Yeah, hopefully we can see Billy go through the pits. There's Manny just leaving the pits now, but hopefully we can see Billy go through that loop and, see how he gets on. Because he should be able to just swerve, pick out the riders, through the riders, but I think Coldenhoff won't be as fast as him.
No.
That was
and don't forget Nathan Watson. I mean, he could be a danger man now with that loop opening up.
Definitely.
That was interesting, what's the dividing line between riding through the pits?
I watched that as well and thought exactly. It's not riding if the engine's turned off. I think he does pushing you.
Just I'll jump on, Dad, and you push me.
They're getting deep, them logs already, and we're only a lap in.
Look at that, the back end of that Suzuki there, buried.
That's like the back end of that four-wheeler you buried yesterday, Johnny. That's not going to come out, mate. Oh, no, there's people going in opposite directions.
You're going to see people just ghosting their bikes over the top in desperation. This is getting wild.
I think I just saw Nathan Watson in there then. So Coldenhoff's been good because he was first person through here, so he's going to gain a lot of time.
Well, he did, look. He ended up with an advantage of 2 minutes 55.
Wow.
It gave him a huge pull.
He timed that well.
Hopefully we can see Billy. I just seen him go through in the background. Hopefully we can see him go through here now.
Wow.
Yeah, that's serious. Those logs are getting bad. And remember, you know...
There's Coldenhoff in the background.
Was that Coldenhoff struggling there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Still 50 minutes of this to go. It's only going to get a lot worse. Look at the steam.
So Coldenhoff there going through the huge 4.5 metre whoops.
And he's using his head, isn't he?
You just have to roll through them with the other guys, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, you come over the top of there fast, there's a very good chance you're going to find someone laid on the other side. I think he's riding, just like you say, using his head and being sensible here. You could throw it away, though, in this part of the track. You could throw that lead away so easily.
Yeah, because he's going to look up now and he's going to be like, oh, no. He's going to think,
here we go.
I hate enduro.
Yeah. He's going to think, hey, it wasn't like this at Red Bull.
But he's using his head, slowing up, having a look where there is actually a route through.
The worst thing is stopping before an obstacle, because then you just end up digging a hole. So hopefully he gets through good.
This is where Rob Meek, Nathan Watson's dad, used to pat people on the shoulder at Western and say, "Excuse me, I'm leading this. Do you think you could let me through?" And they'd usually move aside.
I can't imagine Billy doing that. He's 15 stone. He's not going to be stopping.
No. Well, this is Coldenhoff wrestling his way through the X loop now. Coldenhoff, it's not going to be an easy passage for him, but so far he's managed to keep going. There he is, fighting his way through. And I think we've got Billy Bolt down in pit lane with Chenny. Sorry, Chenny, over to you.
Billy, very quickly, how difficult is it out there?
Chaos.
Chaos, there you go. That's all Billy Bolt has to say about it. Chaos, but still on course to take his first ever West title. He will be the first World Enduro Super Series champion if he carries on like this. We're expecting another stop from Billy as well, so it will not necessarily just be one stop. We think we might see Billy do two. He said he's playing it safe. Oh, that's what you've got to be so careful of. Now, Billy just jumped on the bike and the lads had to stop him. You're not allowed to ride the bike out of the pit lane here, the Red Bull Knockout. At the Western, you can do. Here, you're not allowed to. So Billy just having a bit of a moment there.
And that moment,
Glenn Coldenhoff has fought his way through the X loop then, so a safe passage on that lap for the Hoff. He continues to lead the way. He's completed 14 laps. He had an advantage even after his pit stop. His 2 minutes 55 shrank to 2 minutes 15, but still well good enough over the new second place man, Nathan Watson. Watson ahead of Jentel Martins. Milko Potisek drops to 4th place.
All changing then. And how easy is it, you know, Johnny, as well as anyone in the heat of battle, just to make a silly mistake like that, you know, just to get on the bike and get DQ'd. You could. I mean, it could have been the title right there.
Yeah, the last thing he'll be thinking now is walking his bike out of a pit. He'll have just been like, get on it and go. And it's an easy mistake to make.
Yeah. Thank goodness it was corrected quickly.
That's Scheveningen we're looking at now.
Yeah, who's currently in 5th place. Last lap time of 5 minutes 43, so I suspect he's been in the pits. When did Scheveningen join the Red Bull KTM team?
I'm honestly not too sure, because he just does beach races.
Milko Potisek, winner of the Le 2K Enduro in February after a colossal battle with Nathan Watson without a motorcycle. He is out of it. Potisek out of it. Winner of the Skegness beach race in the UK last year. Oh, what a shame. That's a sad sight. So Potisek then looks to be out of the reckoning altogether. Oh,
now
hang on.
This is beach race. This is typically what happens.
So they just ride down the side
of the track. Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm afraid Greg Atkins' masterpiece makes no sense then. If
no,
you don't
I
have
agree
to ride
with
through it.
They should DQ all of them.
Yeah, so Scheveningen, I'm not too sure when he started riding. I was at Dunkirk a few years ago, and he was out on a KTM then, so I'm guessing that's when he started riding for Farioli, but he just does beach races, so he does the beach races, and then he works for his dad, he said, for a couple of months, and then he's just started riding beach races again.
So Camille Scheveningen currently in 4th place then, benefiting from Milko Potisek's departure. I'm a bit deflated about everybody bypassing
me as well, actually.
I was looking forward to them having to really pick their way through the chaos. Here's number 91, Nathan Watson, back up to 2nd place. He's kicked off in 2nd place behind teammate Coldenhoff.
He's still
so
charging.
What can the mild-mannered, smiling Nottinghamshireman do now? I asked him why he was named after his mum rather than his dad, and he said he thinks it's because she didn't want his name associated with the family scrap business. Because the Meek empire is built around a scrapyard. Rob Meek's old man Ron was the scrap man, and Meeky was, but Nathan got called Watson instead. Here's number 9. That was our first glimpse there, just for a moment. There's Josep Garcia, who's challenging Billy Bolt for that West title in his debut in the sand. The 21-year-old Spaniard. Inspired, his hero is the 4-time World Enduro champion, Ivan Cervantes, who he still talks to a lot, who now, helps him out a lot.
Yeah, they do a lot of training together in Spain at the moment.
So number 26, Josep Garcia, as I mentioned, a very brief glimpse of the Somerset lad Todd Kellett, who's just won the Western Beach Race for the 3rd time. He's running currently in 12th place.
He's got another go tomorrow, though.
Well, yes, he has. But they were really dismayed to find that their motorcycle won't be released until 6 o'clock.
Right.
They thought with the race finishing by 4, they could be headed for the ferry straight away. So it's going to be a long night's journey.
To do some more of this tomorrow. They must be mad.
Them holes look like they were getting deeper now then.
Bit of despair out on the track now, yeah. A few riders are...
Despair's a good word.
It is. Motivation is leaving them fast. I think even the cheetah lane up the side looking like it might be getting blocked now. But the log's getting deeper and deeper. Just look at the sand. There's hardly any drive to even get your front wheel off the ground for those logs once you're in there.
I'm just looking at lap times, and Glenn Coldenhoff has done a 7:15 and Nathan Watson's done a 5:51.
But he's going to be somewhere
near.
He's
doing a lot faster lap time.
So the interesting thing now is Coldenhoff just completed 15 laps. Watson is still on 14. The gap when Watson crosses the line is going to be fairly crucial. And I'm looking at them. I'm looking at the screen now, willing it to come up. Oh dear me. Meanwhile, people taking rests whenever they can around the track. Not advisable when someone's coming at you at some speed. The guy, Billy Bolt, currently 16th, the World Enduro Super Series leader, and then Joseph Garcia in 21st, immediately ahead of Manuel Lettenbichler in 22nd place. You were saying that Lettenbichler, look at another wonderful kettle on there.
Screen.
That Lettenbichler has even better gear than you guys do from the Red Bull KTM factory, because he's a local boy who lives almost on the doorstep.
Yeah, he gets a lot of help from the factory, and he's kind of a test rider, should I say? Like, he tests a lot of stuff before we start to run it. So if it's good enough for him, it's good enough for him. It must have been good because he's rode solid all year. So we'll see what we get next year.
Glenn Coldenhoff, and the gap has shrunk dramatically.
Coldenhoff stuck.
Yeah.
There's
Coldenhoff. How long has he been stuck?
Glenn Coldenhoff is stuck, and the gap has dropped to 41.5 seconds when they crossed the line last time.
Now he's
Coldenhoff's pulling out. Coldenhoff's pulling off. Is there a problem with his engine? No, he's been shown he's been shown the chicken lane. Is that what you call it, the chicken lane? Yeah, the chicken lane's there, so Coldenhoff can follow that. Let's hope that they're equally keen, the Dutch marshals, to show Nathan Watson the chicken run.
About that. If I'm honest, track's a track, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought you were meant to ride on the track.
So Coldenhoff then, with 42 minutes to go, has a lead over, he had a lead over the line over Nathan Watson at 41.5. That may now be a little less. This is Camille Chapelier, yet another of the Red Bull KTM shaking its head down the straight.
Watching him down there. They've got steering dampers on these bikes for the straights, Johnny, or not?
I don't honestly think they do, to be honest.
Wouldn't be a bad move.
You can see why Billy Bolt, riding his first sand race at Western a few weeks ago, said, I did try taking my hand off the bar to deal with my goggles once, but I sharpish had it back on again, because I can't understand how they can go one-handed down the straight. I need to hold on grimly all the time.
This is a choppy straight though, isn't it? I mean,
yeah.
Nathan's closed the gap. He's 41 seconds down now. That was 2 minutes 50 something before.
And also that was before Glenn got into a bit of a mess. So if he could get through there just a little bit more cleanly, have a cleaner lap, it's always possible.
Well, they battled here at the last one in 2016. It might come down to the same sort of thing again today. You know, Watson is moving in on him.
So here's Coldenhoff then, 2.59, back onto the straight.
Back onto the part of the track where he's going to be stronger than almost anyone. It's those logs that are causing the problem. It's Billy.
Billy Bolt in 16th place, 13 laps completed, so he's been lapped once, of course, by Coldenhoff. Coldenhoff's got the West leader in his sights again, because they're both onto the straight. Coldenhoff on his 16th lap, Billy on his 14th.
That's the Joker lane there. So the Joker lane, still remember, 4 times the riders have to do this during this final.
Tending to forget that they've got to pitch the Joker lane.
Let's hope the riders don't, but it's so easy to forget it.
This is his final time. It keeps popping up that he's done it 3 times already, so last lap for him in there.
That'll be a relief.
He'll be happy. These boys are discussing how to get the bike out.
Relieved it's over. Our bikes are so stuck, we can't possibly get it out.
So Glenn Coldenhoff, there he is in the frame there with his, you can see very much the influence of, I think it's an Indonesian grandmother there in his looks, but very much a Dutchman. Glenn Coldenhoff then comes to the end of the back straight, the 2 kilometre back straight. Plenty of room there in the second turn to swoop round. So he's coming up to complete his 16th lap, and he's got under 40 minutes now, plus 1 lap, before he achieves his ambition of winning the Red Bull Knockout. And who would bet against it right now? 2:59, Glenn Coldenhoff on the Red Bull KTM. On his curtain call with the Red Bull KTM, he moves to standing construct for MXGPs next year. This then could be a victorious finale.
Full throttle into the world of Red Bull. Motorsports at its finest, all over the globe. Make it your world and download the app for free. Red Bull TV is available on all your devices, anywhere, at any time. Go beyond the ordinary. Get the app now.
The best beat-em-up players are ready for the final fight. Who will conquer them all?
Me, I'm the best. You can be beat and watch your back.
I like the game.
Watch Red Bull Conquest, live on Red Bull TV.
One's a professional, one's an amateur. Both are hardcore.
The passion and the love for racing and for bikes, this is what puts us next to each other.
Follow Tadej Blazusiak and Andy Nokley as they prepare to compete in one of the toughest extreme endurance races in the world. Parallel Universe, Red Bull Hare Scramble. Now available on Red Bull TV.
Glenn Coldenhoff dominating at the moment the Red Bull Knockout of 2018, but his advantage, I beg your pardon, his advantage may even have expired. Nathan Watson has actually just crossed the line ahead of Glenn Coldenhoff. We saw Coldenhoff hit problems in the Joker lane. He's back to the Joker lane, I beg your pardon, the X loop. He's back to the X loop now. But Nathan Watson was able to take advantage of that problem that he had, and Watson, the Englishman, has a 10-second advantage right now. So this just, this could be a real decider. Well, it was really, as Mr. Rob Warner predicted, that it could be a major factor in the outcome of the race. Whether or not Watson has got what it takes to stay clear of Coldenhoff and have a calm enough head on his shoulders to deal with. There is Coldenhoff. Is that Coldenhoff still in the X loop?
Yeah, that was Nathan then going down the outside, yeah. So maybe they're all getting diverted onto that line now.
So they're doing kind of part of the real X loop and then getting shown, what did you call it, the chicken run?
Yeah, the chicken line.
Chicken lane.
It did look pretty impassable up on that dune, on that uphill dune with those logs on it. And if it's blocked with riders, then we do want to race, and we're getting one. But Watson, fighting back, that's incredible.
So Nathan Watson, his dad's here, his mum's here, his kid brother Ben, who finished 4th in the MX2 Grand Prix on a Yamaha this year. There's also their careers diverged 2 years ago when this lad got the offer from Red Bull KTM to go and to try his hand at Enduro. Finished 2nd in his first full season in the World Enduro Championship. Learned very fast. But that was because he was riding for Kimi Räikkönen's team, and Kimi Räikkönen loved the Ferrari, just ex-Ferrari Formula 1 driver, loves to go trail riding out in the woods, and the former head of the race department at KTM was with them, and he said he was impressed with Watson. He said, you should try this, let's put you into Enduro. We reckon they offered him a contract to go Enduro riding.
He actually, when they were there, he actually went faster. There was Mayo when he was the world champion, and they were playing on a test in the wood, and he was faster than Mayo on his own test in his own wood. So that's when he made the move, yeah.
I think you better be doing enduro. He's working out well.
It's worked out well for the boy.
I mean,
and now he's looking at he just enjoys this stuff so much. He's going to do all the rest of the French series, so he'll be racing through December, January until the 2K in February.
Way.
Yeah.
Incredible though, you know, those two, Coldenhoff and Watson, bar to bar here last time in 2016. Hurlins had gone. This time it's for the win.
Look at that! What a colossal sight.
Is the tide coming in? Is anyone worried about that this afternoon?
So Nathan Watson, a tall, gangly, about 6'2", isn't he? He must be getting on for your height, Rob.
You know, one of the worst things in the sand is when your shirt comes untucked at the back, and then you start filling the sand
all down your pants. Yeah.
And Nathan, that's happened to Nathan. He's going to be feeling that later on.
Well, you're starting to give your backside a scrub. But so Nathan Watson then now in the lead. The critical thing will be whether he's been at. This is the man now in second place, 2:59. Glenn Coldenhoff, I mean, looked so dominant for 3/4 of the race. Now he's the chaser. He's got a real job on his hands.
It was either the pit stop or that X loop. I reckon it was when he got stuck on that log in that X loop. He'd been there a while, you know. Before we saw him, I think he'd been there a while, because it was pretty frantic with the marshals in waving at him.
And that tantalising gap, look, has remained at 10 seconds between the two Red Bull KTMs. Oh, this is a proper race, boys. I love long races because of the way that the story unfolds. Anything can happen.
Both on big 450 KTMs.
This is kind of what happened last year. You know, Nathan wasn't as fast early on, but then he came strong towards the end. So
yes.
Is that because he's the enduro rider, though? Just, you know, Coldenhoff going to be incredibly fit, but he's not used to riding for 2 hours, is he?
There's Billy in the pit again.
Billy Bolt coolly in the pits then. Bolt for his second pit stop. Remember, there's Stan Lee Edmondson there, his mechanic, about to showing us his underwear as he's about to pull the bike off its stand and presumably prevent Billy from riding the bike out. They don't seem to be rushing, do they? Billy taking his time. He's in the pit. He was in 15th place.
Yeah, it's twisted. You can see the front looks a bit twisted.
Oh, I wonder if it was from that crash earlier, though.
Yeah,
might have been.
Maybe.
So is he?
That's the worst thing, you know. Now you've got a sandy helmet, try to get the goggles on without getting the sand inside.
There's no point in wasting energy getting angry if you can help it, is there?
No, for sure.
No, everyone's doing what they can do, that's for sure. You just got to stay out of the way and let them get on with it. But
look, you can see Lee says he's really loved riding, working with him these last 2 years. He was certainly giving him a lot of advice there as he ran down pit lane.
Probably telling him to calm down, because you know he's half an hour away now from being the ultimate enduro champion, winning the series, driving away in a crossbow. This is going to be a pretty tense half hour for Billy Bolt.
It's going to be a pretty tense half hour for the Red Bull KTMs with Nathan Watson and Glenn Coldenhoff then. As they cross the line now, the gap is 18.5 seconds. Nathan Watson has pulled out.
Whoa.
He did a lap of 5:23.9 against a 5:31.5 on that lap for Glenn Coldenhoff. So Watson, number 91. You feel like it's crucial closing stages, but it's the length of a Grand Prix motocross race away from victory. So anything yet can conceivably happen. So 91. Nathan Watson.
And he's not going to want a hat-trick of second places here. This is it. Can he win it for the first time? He's an incredible rider. And now they have taken that log climb out, so that's what we saw earlier. It's gone. Too difficult.
Well, Coldenhoff will thank them for that then. Saying, oh, great.
There's a few diehards still determined to retire it, but I think I'd probably go around it at this point in the afternoon. But Watson doesn't look any less comfortable, composed than he did at the start of this race, does he?
Manuel Legenbickler, number 304. Legenbickler and Garcia, of course, will benefit from the fact that Billy Bolt's been into the pits and things didn't look like they'd gone terribly smoothly. At the moment, Manny's in 21st place.
Billy's still running in 15th, but that could be before the time.
I think that might be. I think we'll find that he's dropped a bit by the time he comes out and he has to do another lap, because now he's at the moment he's on 14 laps. Everybody ahead of him on 15. Just ahead of him is Greg Smets.
Manny and his thumb battling on valiantly though. Long time to be riding out there with not a great grip on the bars really today.
3 times German junior trials champion, like his dad, very much a trials background. Even though his dad became you know, more fabled as an extreme enduro rider. He obviously made sure that his kid rode trials first and got well acquainted with that. Was your dad a trials rider? And how did you get into motorbikes?
Yeah, he still is now. He's an old man. He's still riding trials. But yeah, that's how I did it. And I changed at like 17, 18. I decided to have a go at motocross. That's what I wanted to do. I had my friends back at home, Jamie Law and Brad Anderson, and I was always riding with them. And then I just kind of fell into it and started doing hard enduros. I went to Erzberg and then finished third there my first time, and that was it. Just got an offer then from KTM. That was like 5 years ago now.
How did you do it when you went and finished third that first time? Was it just you and your dad went over there?
No, I went. I had a manager at the time, and I went with him. He's like, "You got to go and ride this race." And I remember getting there, and I didn't really know anything about it. I'd watched some YouTube videos, and I remember riding around thinking, "What is this? This is the worst thing I've ever done." But I actually came out in third 3 times.
Incredible, yeah.
So yeah, third in my first year, and then I won it the year after that, and then I think the year after that. So. But yeah, I remember just thinking, I was stuck on a hill for like 15 minutes, and I was just like, what is this? But
second this year, and that you hurt yourself.
That was the advice of Julian Stevens, was it, to go and do that?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, if one race can change a man's lifetime, you made it work there. This is the X-Loop. This is what happened when the X-Loop fired off, and it was indeed going to change the course of the race. That's what Billy Bolt did, that ghost thing there. He did that to Mel Pocock's dad when Mel Pocock was trying to stop him bending a fence to get through in a traffic jam at Weston. Billy said, I just ghosted the bike at him.
That'll make people move, usually.
Yeah. Now, this is when it was clear. They're virtually the first man through, Glenn Coldenhoff, through the X-Loop, and he was all right. A nice, clean run. It was all to change a lap later.
Them logs got dug out, and it's now impassable, really.
And this is the current race leader then, Nathan Watson.
I could watch...
As modest and unassuming a lad as his dad ever was.
I could watch these top lot riders ride sound all day long. It's just amazing how fluid they are in it.
Jentel Martens back into third place for the Rockstar Husqvarna team, ahead of Camille Chapelier's KTM. Jamie McCanny up to 5th place. The Maxman, another former World Enduro champ, ahead of Lars van Berkel, and 7th place now for Todd Kellett on his St. Blaise Husqvarna, riding the 350, which he said he'd prefer to have a 450, but the 350 was what he had to bring with him.
But he was, back in 20th at the start, so he's moved up. He's done well, Todd Kellett, today.
Jamie McCanny could actually move up a lot because he's lapping a lot faster than Camille and Jentel Martens.
But we had some entertainment before this race, incidentally, ladies and gentlemen, when Sebastian Loeb debuted, had his first drive in his Peugeot, his Paris-Dakar Red Bull Peugeot, and in the passenger seat he had an absolute, this is hysterical, we'd never seen Jeffrey Hurlings look anything other than dead confident and cool. Look at him on the left of picture, absolutely shaking his innards and his eyes absolutely on stalks as Sebastian Loeb took him for a little ride around the track here at the Hague. That was wonderful.
It was, wasn't it?
I'd never imagined Jeffrey would ever look that lit up in a safe four-wheel
He was hanging
vehicle.
on with everything he had, wasn't he? Huh?
Meanwhile, back on track, these fellas are still going very commendably after over an hour and a half. Jentel Martens back into 3rd place on bike number 63. His last lap is 6 minutes 20. So he's been and done his, I suspect, his 2nd pit stop. And then Chapelier, McCanny, really impressed with Jamie McCanny. This is going to be his best Red Bull result if he can keep it somewhere around there.
He's just coming back from injury, right, Jamie? He was leading the World Enduro Championship this year, I think.
Yeah.
And he crashed out. I think he did a shoulder or something, so he's just coming back from that.
Well, he'd certainly got his season on the sand off to a good start when he finished 9th at Le Touquet. Marshall Meplon is down in 16th place. Incidentally, Billy Bolt in 17th place after his slightly angry pit stop. He's re-emerged and only lost a couple of places. So, in fact, still ahead. In fact, 1 place ahead of one of his rivals, Joseph Garcia Montana.
Oh, there's a bike in the track.
Someone's giving smoke signals for help. SOS.
Come and
get me.
Actually, when I was walking back from the pits, so a long while after the qualifier had finished, there were still bikes propped up against the banks waiting to be rescued. So I presume that they did go and rescue them. This is Joseph Garcia, very much a top motocrosser, winner of Spanish motocross championships as a kid, before that strange season where, whoa, and look how the front end can just dig in and catch you out if you're not used to sand.
Todd Kellett fans there, look, at the rucksack.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well spotted, young man.
You can see Joseph now, he's just trying to ride on the outsides of the track, you know, try and find a smooth line. So I guess he's feeling it a bit now. He's still be smiling though.
But what about his GoPro run from Hawkstone? I mean, it was incredible, that flying lap with him.
It's crazy, like, I've been riding with him a lot, and like in the woods, it's ridiculous, you know, how much confidence he has, how fast he is in the woods. It's amazing.
Fearless.
Yeah, like he rides a 250F and he just holds it wide open, like just pulls a clutch in and he's just clutching it everywhere.
And that gap between the two of them, 37.2 seconds now. Whoa,
you
boys,
want to hit
please
that.
Don't hit that at any speed.
That would be pretty serious.
And no one's going to want him to go out and rescue it. Here's Nathan Watson then, and I noticed on the last lap that Nathan had abandoned his waterside route down the straight, Rob. Why do you think that is? Look, he's going down the rocky side, really.
I wonder if the tide's coming in or something like that, and it's just...
It could have got bad, you know, when I said about the water washing the sand out and making it really bumpy, it could have got really bad like that. And he's wise.
It did look deep, actually, when I saw Billy go through it a few laps ago. I was surprised he went that deep, you know?
Yeah. Look, Nathan's sticking, so he's going right inside the tightest line possible through that huge first turn. So Nathan Watson then leads the way here by 37 seconds over Glenn Coldenhoff with 23.5 minutes to go. Red Bull Knockout 2018.
An insight into the disciplines, terminology, and history of the toughest kind of motorbiking. The ABC of hard enduro, now available on Red Bull TV.
I was raised on the racetrack, and my dad taught me everything I know. Then, things changed. I'm Queen Bee, self-confessed petrolhead and car-obsessed vlogger. I promised my dad I'd never give up on what we'd built as a team.
You've got to believe in yourself.
I'm heading back into the world of competition. I'll be modifying a standard street car to create my very own drift machine.
You're gonna crash.
That is what happens when you do it wrong. Come on, go.
Drift Queen, now available on Red Bull TV. The best motocross series is back.
Oh my goodness!
Hard work, sacrifice, and struggle.
It's an hour of pain, and the best man's going to win the championship.
Corner speeds are scorching.
Who will push himself to victory? Get ready for MX Nation Season 4. All episodes available on Red Bull TV.
The line. Welcome back to the Red Bull Knockout 2018 here at The Hague. Nathan Watson crosses the line in the lead then. A lap of 5 minutes 27.5, which when you consider how much the track has chopped up and how the fact that he's having to take the X loop now is pretty remarkable, because nobody's actually got underneath the 5 minute lap time. So that's impressive stuff. Meanwhile, other people not enjoying themselves quite as much, especially those that decide that the X loop is good fun and they ought to give it as much of their attention as they possibly can. Watson, Coldenhoff, Jentel, Martin, Chapelier, Todd Kellett having a great ride, now into 5th place.
Look at that.
On the private St. Blasey. Husqvarna St. Blasey is a motorcycle dealership way down in Cornwall, 2 hours southwest of the Kellett family home in Somerset. And what a great job they do backing the Kellett family So Todd Kellett then having a storming ride, and then he'll be off to try and secure 1,000 quid as the winner of the Steggy Beast race tomorrow. 20 minutes to go.
It'll be a hard man to stop, I would think, tomorrow there.
He could be. Especially if he gets pumped up by a good result here, because that must carry on, doesn't it?
He's charged through, hasn't he, today? It's been impressive, that ride of his.
Billy Bolt still hammering round here. At the moment, Billy in 16th place.
Whoa. 20 minutes away from winning, without a doubt, his biggest title to date. World Enduro Super Series. I mean, he's nearly there. What an incredible year that young man has had.
And that's like his third full season of competition in the Enduro
It wasn't
world.
long ago he was doing British Championship trials that had never been on a motocross bike.
Yes.
Actually, really.
Yes.
I mean, it's impressed me how quickly he's adapted to, you know, Johnny coming from trials. It takes a while to get, especially in sand and things like that.
Yeah, definitely. It's totally different, you know. You're used to like hopping over rocks and that, and then to start holding it wide open all the time. It's a weird change to do.
And sitting down is very different in the turns.
But he did, as he puts it, he used to be fairly brutal on trials bikes, didn't he? He used to snap frames and things and, you know, do stuff to them, didn't he? He was... and in fact, he said that the slow pace of trials, possibly similarly to yourself, I suspect, kind of began to bore him a bit in the end, and he just wanted a bit more action and a bit more speed.
That is exactly what happened to me. I just got bored of
sitting in queue,
riding around the field, talking to your mates,
yeah.
and I just wanted to do this. I wanted to just go flat out.
Because, just be honest, the best bit about a good trial is between the sections.
Yeah,
which is basically
out.
an enduro. Yeah, so you just get a proper bike and do it for real. There's probably nothing like trials for setting you up for any off-road sport, any off-road two-wheel sport.
That fundamental discipline.
That's right.
Yeah.
The clutch control and everything like that is so good from trials.
Pace down this straight. Every time I see him, takes my breath away. Look at it. Reminds me of Steve McQueen on any Sunday at the Alzenor Grand Prix siding through the opposition. You remember?
Yes.
I think they lifted the fence for him in a couple of spots during that.
Nathan Watson, 41 seconds he squeezed out of this now. This is phenomenal. Well, you know what? I did mention that Coldenhoff felt he needed to train a bit more a couple of years ago. He was talking about perhaps just strength not being his strong point in the end. And over a race of this, whoa, blimey. There's a Suzuki going down big time. Camille Chapelier just ignores it and carries on with the job, running in 4th place, coming around to complete his 19th lap.
But if you're not on the gas in sand like this, the front wants to just dive, just wants to be grabbed. So
see the way he slashed between those two back markers then.
This fella's exhaust's full up though. He shook it out a bit now.
Oh, it's one of the two-strokers. There are a lot of two-stroke bikes out there in this event.
Man's bike, Jack.
Good to see. Good to see it here.
Ideal for seizing up at the end of the straight. 2 strokes.
Chapelier there, and as this bike is... There's one thing about 2 strokes usually is they will start again.
Yeah. No matter how hot they get.
Look, there you go. Clear out the sun, clear out the exhaust, and away he goes.
He's probably mortified that it's just started. He's probably like thinking it wasn't going to start, and he's like, oh.
Please don't.
He did give it a big Ronnie Mack rev there, though, to get a clear.
He did, yeah. This is the race leader.
How impressive is Nathan Watson? I know he, comes from MXGP, but to beat Glenn Coldenhoff in the sand,
yeah, it's quite impressive, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
It really is, yeah.
The locals know how to ride this stuff better than anyone else on the planet.
Second at Berck-sur-Mer, second at Le Touquet, second in the Hawkston Park West Round, second at the Red Bull Knockout twice.
Yeah.
He's a lad who deserves a victory.
He does, yeah. He really does. And it'll be his first Wes win.
Yes, it will.
So let's hope he gets it now. Impressive. Now he's come back through from second place to put himself, 40 seconds ahead now of Coldenhoff. Rain's coming. Is the rain coming down again out there? Yeah, that's going to mess with the visibility. Not really what you want at this late stage in the race, but better now than earlier on. Look at the water down that straight. I think the tide is coming in. That fella better hurry up and get that KTM back, or it'll be a pile of rust in a couple of hours' time.
Packed in a good place.
The long straight is getting narrower now, yeah.
Nathan Watson could become the 7th winner in the West. That proves that the West Series is doing the job that Winnie wanted it to do. The guy who set the whole thing up, the ex-sporting boss at KTM, because you've got Billy Bolt, Graham Jarvis, Loic Larue, remember, another former motocrosser who won the Trèfle-Lozère in France, and the Red Bull Romaniacs. Wade Young won that, and Josep Garcia winning at Hawkston Park, and Albin Elausen winning the Gotland, so that he'll be the 7th winner.
Incredibly diverse series, as you say, like they set it up to be. They wanted hard enduro, time card enduro, classic enduro, and we've even got a beach race to finish. What a finale!
So hats off to Mr. Kershagel, because that was a really great idea that he had, and Red Bull have made it work. 14 minutes 40 then, stand between Nathan, plus 1 lap, stand between Nathan Watson and victory here at the Red Bull Knockout of 2018. Behind him we've got Coldenhoff, Martens, Chapelier, Todd Kellett, Van Berkel, Jamie McCanny, Axel van der Sander in 8th, Jeffrey de Wolf in 9th, Damon Martins in 10th.
24 seconds, the board tells him his lead is. It's more on our timing screen, so I don't know if Coldenhoff's coming back, but...
Coldenhoff's last lap was faster than...
Maybe he is.
It was, yeah. Oh no, last time wasn't actually. It was about 4 seconds slower. Yeah. But Nathan's got to. Are you
hammering?
When you've got a lead, even a kind of not exactly a comfortable lead, but at least a lead of sorts, and you've got the finish kind of almost in your sights. Does it tense you up a bit? Do you tend to ride not as comfortably?
Yeah, you do when you don't realise. You think you're pushing a good pace and you're trying to manage a gap. It's definitely difficult to keep stretching the lead. You start thinking about winning the race and stuff like that, and it starts playing on your mind.
Hard not to, but yeah, very often when things go wrong, difficult lesson to teach yourself, isn't it? Really.
Yes, this is Camille Chapelier, who last time he rode a strong race, of course. Here was on a Yamaha.
I'll tell you what, you're going to have to be Moses.
Come in.
You're going to have to be Moses to get down this thing soon.
The tides come in that far. That's a joker lane coming out. So that's the berm from the joker lane.
Yes.
That's pushing them up, so they're going to have to go over the berm now.
It's a good job there's only 12 minutes left. You'd have to have a jet ski to get down that start-finish straight. Down that long beach straight, excuse me. Oh. Full chat on the 450.
Nathan Watson riding at 4, racing at 6 on the inevitable 50cc. Whoa, is that Coldenhoff? I think that's Glenn Coldenhoff. So Coldenhoff then, another moment that he wouldn't have wanted there, that perhaps shows that a bit of fatigue is setting in, because the way that he lost the front end there, it just sank beneath him.
And he'll be pushing hard. I mean, he's got to.
Yes, of course.
Absolutely, go for it now.
Yeah. I love the way that Watson's length of leg and sheer height allows him to get so much weight over the back wheel. He really hangs it back over that back end of the bike.
If you watch him, he rides so much on his toes, and he's so far back on the bike that the bike can just move. See how he's on his toes?
Yes, I hadn't realised that.
The bike just moves underneath him everywhere.
He's definitely nice to watch. He looks as good as anyone in the sand, doesn't he?
So is that almost losing the footrest on the balls of his feet?
Yeah, so basically that'll act a bit like a suspension, so the bike can move underneath him without the suspension moving as much, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. You can see, in fact, how much these ankles flex when he's operating like that. Here's Coldenhoff. He's still on the straight, so having had that minor fall, he'll have just cost himself a few vital seconds again by the time he comes back round to complete his 21st lap. 43.6 seconds then, the tantalising gap between first and second. It's another 3.5 minutes back to Jentel Martin. Beg your pardon, another 2.5 minutes back to Jentel Martins in third.
The rain's really coming down, it looks like now out there. Definitely raining sand on a lot of these people. There's nicely parked up, look at that. Rear flat. You ain't getting far with that on the back of your bike. Billy Bolt get a puncher on a beach.
He had a moose in.
Does that have a moose in there?
Yeah, maybe his rim lock's broken or something.
Will a lot of these guys be using a moose then?
Yeah, I would have thought so, because he wouldn't, in a 2-hour race, imagine getting a puncher on the last lap. So yeah, they'll all run mooses. sometimes some people will run 2. We have to run 2 rim locks in the tyre, so just in case you break a rim lock, you've got another one holding on, because there's nothing worse than when the tyre spins on the rim.
Camille Chapelier.
He's looking
24-year-old Frenchman. Has finished, has won the French Sand Championship once, finished twice second overall in the French Sand Championship, including this year. It's amazing, isn't it? Italian, in olden days, Italians and French hated sand. In the world of motocross Grand Prix racing, sand was absolutely not their thing. And it's amazing how it's turned around, and the French in particular will ride anything. Here's Billy Bolt just about using his old trials riding techniques now.
Tell you what, some ride from him, 15th today at the moment. He's in 15th place, you know, in one of the biggest beach races on the planet. 750 riders. Oh, right there at the sharp end of it.
Ooh. He took a glance across then at the guy who was overtaking him, but he wasn't the least bit kind of, I'd better keep up with him, was he? He just kind of let look.
As long as it wasn't Manny Lettenbicker, I doubt he's too worried at this point.
Watson threading his way through the late race traffic then with less than 10 minutes to go plus 1 lap.
Yeah, he's opened up the lead now, 1 minute 4.
Wow, 1 minute 4.8, so that was a costly fall by Coldenhoff. But he's looking as smooth and fast as Glenn was an hour ago, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he is. Coming from Enduro, he's used to the longer races, and this a relatively short race for some of them that we've had in the West Series this year, but sand is pretty energy sapping.
Yeah, we had a race, Romaniacs it was, and we were doing like 8 hours. There's that bit where I was saying the chicken lane was. So he's tried to, not the chicken lane, the joker lane where it comes out, he's tried to miss it because the tide's coming up. Hit the berm. Yeah, so we had Romaniacs this year, which was, we were riding for like 7-8 hours a day.
What time do you have to get up, did you say?
We get up at 4:30 to have breakfast and get ready. And then the first ride leaves at half 6 in the morning.
Wow.
I remember the first day, Nathan didn't get back to the hotel at 9 o'clock at night. That's when he got back, yeah.
No way.
So he had a long day on that. So he'll be used to this one.
Yeah.
This is nothing. Didn't start till midday, 1 o'clock.
There's the standings, the virtual West standing. Billy Bolt 4.730, 4.420 for Lettenbickler, 4.103 for Nathan Watson.
Man.
Watson leapfrogged from 6th to 3rd.
Wow. Incredible.
Just by virtue of 1,000 points for victory here. I didn't realise that would happen. So he could be a bronze medalist in the first World Enduro Super Series. That is impressive.
Second at Hawkstone gave him a good point.
Yes, that was a good haul, wasn't
right.
it? 8.50 for second place.
And then a win, of course, today if he makes it. Less than 10 minutes and a lap away now.
Oh, it just shows that anyone can like win this championship. You know, there's extreme riders that everyone was like, oh yeah, it benefits the extreme riders, but it actually doesn't when you look at this. You know,
it did at the start of the season, but now later in the year it's been
the races
quicker
have got
events.
faster,
Yeah, I've liked the way it's built actually. It's been
me too.
Really exciting watch.
And we're going to have the same event, the same half-dozen events next year, but a possible change towards the end of the season. You know, the question mark over Gotland and here at the Red Bull Knockout. It'll be intriguing to see how the second season on the basis of the first one. Mind you, the first one seems to have gone. Look how much he's on the balls of his feet, as you were saying, coming towards
us. You're going to notice that from now on, aren't you?
But look how deeply his ankles are angled when he's coming towards you.
It only gives you like an extra 2 inch, you know, for your heels to move, and it makes a big difference.
And look at the water coming up now underneath the pier. That's really surging now through underneath the pier. Some of these lads, that you don't want to leave your bike there for too long.
No, this is a bad time to break down on the water's edge. That's for sure.
It's really surging in. Look at that coming under the multicoloured pillars of the pier.
Wow, look at it. Parting the sea. I'm going to get a power washer on that tonight quite quick after this race.
I'd give my bike a wash straight away.
Yeah, I left mine in the back of the van for 3 days after Western, and you couldn't get out of the van because the handlebars wouldn't turn anymore.
Camille Chapelier, when we returned to the beach in 2015 after an absence of half a dozen years, he finished third that year, and we didn't know who he was. He just came out of nowhere, finished third on a Yamaha. He was a Yamaha Franceman back then.
Does that mean he has to do the joke lane one more time? He's only got 3 J's up on there.
So it must do.
You've got to do it 4 times,
You've got
right?
to do it 4 times, otherwise he's forgotten it. And
he needs to get on with it, yeah.
Because at the moment he's in
5 minutes left.
4th place, so he needs to do it fairly handily, doesn't he?
And that'll be a DQ if he doesn't.
So Watson, Coldenhoff, Jentel Martens, Chapelier in 4th, Todd Kellett in 5th, Jamie McCanny in 6th. At the moment, we've got 3 Brits, I'm sorry to sound biased, in the top 6, which is a pretty Herculean effort here on the sand of the Netherlands.
That is impressive,
You know, considering you've got Van Berkel, Van der Sande, De Wolf and Damon Martins behind, rounding out the top 10.
And Steve Ramon, no less, behind these guys as well there. You know.
And these are all Belgian and Dutch sand specialists.
Yeah, the best in the world at it.
Yeah.
Oh dear. I think his day might be coming rapidly to a halt. It'd be annoying to get this far and not actually finish.
Yeah, that's true. But to just at least see that lovely lady with the checkered flag. Oh, Sebastian Loeb had better move his Red Bull Dakar Peugeot fairly soon, otherwise it could get swamped. We have seen vehicles disappear up to their roofs in water at Western-super-Mare when the tides come flooding in, haven't we?
If they don't tow you off in time, you can be in real trouble there. Yeah.
And that tide is absolutely surging in.
Yeah.
Look how far it is in, a third of the way up the straight.
We might have an added water hazard for the last couple of laps.
Has someone parked their motorcycle?
Yeah, they might want to go and get that quite soon.
How'd you manage that?
Although better stood up than laid down for someone to hit, because your visibility's poor along that straight usually. It's not like you're full chat and you can't see anything half the time.
Yeah, a lot of the time you'll ride the full straight with the worst vision because you don't want to pull your tear offs on the straight, your roll offs, because then you go through them too fast. So you literally do the straight, wincing, till you get to the corner, then you pull them, and then you go again.
That's exactly what Billy said he was doing at Western. He said I was losing a lot of time at the end of the straight because by then I couldn't see anything, but I wasn't going to take my hands off the bars and do anything about it till I'd reached the corner.
I'd say it was a good decision.
Oh, Chapelier in trouble. Oh, the proper flying W.
Yeah.
And this was the luckless Milko Potizek when he was still in action. This is a remounted Camille Chapelier. There's Billy Bolt, number 57, using that 15 stone to good advantage.
Different ways of tackling the logs.
It occurred to me that one man we haven't seen is another of the Geordie boys, Matt Moffat. We saw him on the start line when they were lining up, but haven't seen him since. And Matt had he finished about 13th in this race last time we were here.
He doesn't look in good shape, does he?
It's took him a while to get himself clear of that bike, limping away.
Ride it off.
Yeah.
Get on it, do a few laps, and feel good again.
I beg your pardon, Matt Moffat was top. He was 8th in 2015. Really impressive.
Yeah, that is impressive.
You know, he was looking to create himself a career in sand racing, really, was what he would favoured doing.
He had a big crash this year, did you know?
No, I didn't know that.
No, he had a really big crash, and it was at local motocross back at home, and he was out, like, I'm sure he was in a coma and that for a little bit.
Oh, right.
He was in a bad way.
Right, so that would obviously have a long-term effect.
Yeah.
2 minutes plus 2 laps to go then for Nathan Watson, the leader of the 2018 Red Bull Knockout, the return of the Red Bull Knockout to the Scheveningen beach here in The Hague. And Nathan again seeking out somewhere near the sea edge without going too close to it.
Look at the berm that's formed just from coming out of that one lane.
Yes.
That was flat.
That's straight.
It's thin now.
Yeah. Time this to perfection, the end of this race, I'd say.
Yes, you could say that, couldn't you?
That's the tractor that's going to go out and recover all the bikes that are strewn around the beach afterwards, and there will be dozens of them.
There's the first, second and third place men on track. It looks as if those three at least will finish on the same lap as they did Hurling's Nathan Watson and Glenn Coldenhoff 2 years ago.
Watson's
Except
lead
that
over
this
a
man
minute
could
now.
actually be winning it because he's got a lead of a minute now, which must at least beginning to feel almost comfortable.
Still got the hammer down.
He really has, hasn't he? You know, I was quietly couching my doubts when Johnny was talking earlier about the fact, thinking that Nathan would come on strong in the later stages. I'm really impressed with how smooth and fast he is now.
Early on, I mean, Coldenhoff didn't look like he was going to be touched, did he?
No,
he was incredible, wasn't he? And he had a good lead, really good lead, but it all went wrong when they opened up the X lane. I think that's probably where he got stuck and lost that time on that log we caught him on.
But then it's Watson that's looked absolutely untouchable since then.
Be nice to see him win it after being second the last 2 times here.
Billy Bolt's actually moved up to 13th now.
Incredible.
Oh, well done, William.
That's a good way to take
I
the
beg your
title.
pardon, he hates being called William. I had to get our captions changed when they said William Bolt.
You might have to call him a saint after this, the speed of the man.
When he was signing all those posters for the Dutch fans, I said, I hope you're signing them William.
Is that Nathan coming through there?
Look at that. You can see straight away who your eye is caught by the guy who's got the perfect kind of timed bounce.
Yeah, he looks great, doesn't he?
Do you know one of the things this guy had learned a lot from his dad is that Rob Meek he had preparation for a beach race off to perfection, like how to prepare his motorcycle, all the little nuances that you needed to get right to win a beach race. Meeky had that absolutely sorted.
And no doubt, he's passed them down to Nathan. I mean, it's true. And Rob as well was a motocrosser that went to enduro a little bit the same as Nathan.
Yes,
That's a great success.
He did have some success with as an enduro rider, didn't he? Because originally he was a star in the AMC, the Amateur Motorcycle Association. Last lap's sign goes out then, and it goes out for Nathan Watson, the Englishman. Scoots past, one more lap to go to finally nail the Red Bull knockout on the factory Red Bull KTM. This could be, look at the speed at which he's going. It's those that counterbalancing the motorcycle all the time. Your body's on the move, isn't it? And it just kind of, to a couch potato like me, it kind of frightens you a bit now and then. You think it just takes that one moment where it goes wrong at speed.
You know.
And there was someone just went down.
Yeah, I was going to say someone went down and blind side of a dune then.
And look how good he is. Feet up through this, really technical ups and downs here through these massive whoops. No problem for Nathan Watson.
Do you get to do much riding with Nathan, or are you more serious rivals?
No, we're all good. Like Billy, everyone, we all ride together. We'll do tests together and stuff like that. So no one really hates each other, which is good,
No, the impression you get in the enduro world that everybody is. Well, and that that's motorcycle sport in general.
Yeah, like the best thing about the year is at the start of the year we all meet up and do the team photo shoot, which lasts like 3 to 4 days.
Yes.
And like we ride together all day, every day. It's like that's probably the best time of the year, when you're riding with all them lot. And yeah, it's really fun.
So Nathan Watson then, all 6'2" of him. Do you know, it's amazing. It was Ben, his brother, was always the tiny little nipper. Blonde, they're both blonde, blue-eyed, kind of like angelic-looking lads. But Ben was very, very small, and he's suddenly strung out, and he's virtually the same height as Nathan.
Incredible, both of them,
So Nathan Watson then comfortably leading the way now. Glenn Coldenhoff, the early pace setter, in second. Jentel Martins in third. As regards the West champion, it's looking increasingly likely to be Billy Bolton Husqvarna. They're running in 13th place. Manny Letton Bickler has moved up to 16th, just ahead of Joseph Garcia Montana. They're having their own little kind of private battle. Would that still mean, I'm just wondering, would that still mean that Garcia lost third place in the championship to Nathan Watson? I'm not sure.
I think it would, yeah.
Because at the moment, Nathan would get a handy 1,000 points. Joseph Garcia in 17th place. And I'm not...
There's Billy coming through. Bet he feels pretty good right now. No, it's a final lap.
Good ride for him, yeah.
He's just plugging it, isn't he? He's just plugging his way through.
He's a strong lad. He needed all that strength today, but it's a great ride from him. It really is, yeah. finding his way around riders still. And good for them top lads as well. You know, they've had to look after the bikes a bit today, and they've all managed that.
Yes. Yeah, we've had just that one retirement, Milko Potisek, amongst the top liners.
That's impressive as well. What's going to be coming around now, any time to take it, I think.
It's him on the straight now, so a few more corners, a lot more bumps.
Last time down the 100-mile-an-hour straight.
Nathan Watson, who was the MX national champion, MX1
That's Billy
national
just
champion.
going through there. You see Billy still going through the logs.
Still going through the
not
logs.
on the chicken line.
He is keeping it real, Billy Bolt.
He's keeping it real. Good point. This guy, in his first season on a 450, was the MX1 national champion back home in the UK. That was 2014. Was that only 4 years ago? Nathan Watson, born on the 10th of May 1994, so only 24 years old. Huge future ahead of him. And Billy Bolt, of course, the lad from Wild's-End, said it was fairly handy for going over for European trials rounds with his mum and dad, because they're only 10 minutes from the Newcastle ferry over to the continent, over to Rotterdam. Billy looks a bit happier now he's got clear of those mental whoops. He's just looking a little more relaxed. So Billy Bolt, then we've got two British riders then headed for their own respective victories here. This man, Billy Bolt and Husqvarna, heading for victory in the World Enduro Super Series ahead of Manuel Lettenbichler and Nathan Watson, who at the same time will take victory in the Red Bull Knockout.
It's been a transcending 12 months for Billy Bolt.
It has,
really has.
Yes.
He's there. He arrived in Enduro just a few years ago, but now, you know, he's won the World Series. Dare I say it, a little bit further to go, but we're almost there.
And finally, 3 years after following his dad, Rob Meek, into the history books as the winner of the Western Beach Race, Nathan Watson's going to take, after a 3-year blight where he's finished largely second, it looks as if he's going to take the checkered flag and win himself the Red Bull Knockout, the toughest beach race in the world. And appropriately for the Red Bull KTM team.
I don't think he's got far to go now.
Oh, and win himself a crossbow. Blimey, where will you keep that parked then? Oh, I beg your pardon, the crossbow will go to Billy Bolt. That'll be that'll light up Wallsend.
You could have caused problems there if you'd given it to someone else, Jack, I can tell you.
I beg your pardon.
Here he is.
And look at this, the riders are lining the side of the track, ready to take the checkered flag, but the main man takes the checkered flag, and you can see the relief as he threw his head back then. Nathan Watson has finally achieved victory in the Red Bull Knockout. Second in 2015, second in 2016, and he won it the hard way. He was a long way back mid-race, and he clawed himself back into contention, got the better of the real man in form, home hero Glenn Coldenhoff. That was a fine ride, and Billy Bolt is surely going to be crowned as World Enduro Super Series champion. That man in orange, of course, will take the bronze medal in the inaugural World Enduro Super Series. And Billy riding for the Rockstar Husqvarna team, lying in 13th place in the race. Well, it may be unlucky for some, but it certainly ain't unlucky for him at this moment in time. The former trials rider turned enduro racer. He'll come home behind Coldenhoff, Jentel Martins, Camille Chapelier, Todd Kellett, Jamie McCanny in 6th, Van Barkel, Van der Sande, De Wolf, Damon Martins, Marshall Metland, and William Bolt, as he still is on our timing screen, much as he hates the expression. But the 21-year-old from Wallsend on the mouth of the River Tyne, up in my native northeast of England, somewhere amongst that crowd, will be crossing the line to take the checkered flag and complete his 21st lap. So 3 laps behind Nathan Watson, but it matters not. He has been the most consistent performer over the whole season, and he will take victory. Glenn Coldenhoff, I'm sure, will sportingly congratulate his teammate at Red Bull KTM. I don't think Nathan's seen him yet. In fact, I think Nathan's having his photograph taken. Is that with Billy?
No, that's with Gomez.
With Alfredo Gomez.
Stan is mechanic. Oh, there's my girlfriend.
And there's that was Jess on the right. That's your own good lady. And that was Roxy on the left, Billy Bolt's young woman.
Fella making sandcastles. He's done enough.
He's going to bury his bike. He's decided that enough's enough. I never want to see you again.
We're finished.
And there are the girls examining.
Working out times.
Working out times.
He's got 2 more corners to go, I think.
He'll carry. If anything went wrong now, he'd carry that bike, Billy. He could put it on his shoulder and walk.
He probably would have the strength to do that. That's Alfredo Gomez, another boy. He's a former World Junior Trials champion, Gomez.
Coming
Another
back
guy
from
with
injury this year.
Big trials, Jay. Coming back from a nasty knee injury. He's completed the race. Number 2, Camille Chapelier. And Nathan Watson and Stanley Edmondson. There's mechanic there on the right-hand side in the black woolly hat. He is the kid brother of Paul Edmondson, the former World Enduro champion, and he's there to greet Billy Bolt, who does cross the line to be crowned the first ever World Enduro Super Series champion. Nathan Watson there, as happy as Bolty is about that. In fact, all the guys look pretty chuffed for the lovely character from the northeast.
It's massive what he's done to win the Wes. Massive for him.
That's his teammate Alfredo Gomez. And a huge hug as well from Nathan Watson. Wonderful to see these scenes of jubilation and emotion, really, because a lot of I know that it's people harp on about hard work, but this is a sport that demands a pretty large amount of work from people. There's Joseph Garcia, still not reached the finishing line. He's running in 17th place behind Manuel Lettenbichler.
Nathan Watson's done it.
And there's that Paul Bolton giving, no, I beg your pardon, I thought for a moment it was Bolton. He hadn't finished the race and he was giving a hug to Billy Bolt. So they're all there congratulating one another on well-deserved victories, and a hugely entertaining race. I'd rather we came back again. Can we come back again next year, please, rather than leave it 2 years?
I'm not coming back next year. I'm racing.
We'd have rather seen you out on the track.
Yeah, me too.
It's been nice having your company all afternoon, though.
Yes, it has been, dear boy. Very nice having your company. There's Camille Chapelier there on the left-hand side of the picture.
He looks fresh, doesn't he?
He does look incredibly fresh.
A little bit of sand on his face.
But considering, where we've been sat, Billy Bolt there giving Stan Lee Edmondson a ride back to the pits. And he's going to fall off. He's bound to fall off with Lee Bob on the back, isn't he? It's going to happen.
It could happen, yeah. Let's hope no one gets hurt this close to lifting the trophy.
Well, he need to be back for the rostrum ceremony, as someone told him. Because we'll have 2 rostrum ceremonies, one for these boys. There's the disappointed, understandably disappointed Glenn Coldenhoff and his beautiful lady, surrounded, of course, by the Dutch media. And 304, Manny Lettenbichler, who will be second in this championship, of course. He'll be able to stand on the rostrum of the World Enduro Super Series 2018. Don't like that story you told me about him ripping off his glove
and then having to rip his nail off, what was left of it, in all the mud and dirt of Gotland. Yeah, it's a miracle he hasn't got some sort of blood poisoning, I would say, wouldn't you?
Because that was that shocking condition.
Yeah, and his thumb, it looks like a bent old carrot right now. It does, doesn't it? It's a big carrot thumb on him.
Sounds like the sort of carrots I tried to grow. I failed to grow on the allotment, mate. This is Glenn Coldenhoff. Does that mean that we're going to get hopefully Chenny will be able to grab a word with the man who finished second then, Glenn Coldenhoff, third in 2016, second in 2018, each time edged out by this guy, Nathan Watson.
Get that thing away from there quick. He needs help, that man, or he's going to lose that bike to the ocean. He does look a bit stressed. Quick.
It's going to be a long push.
It is, isn't it?
Especially on his own.
Manuel Lettenbichler, 3 times German junior trials champion before turning. He's still only 20 years old. I mean, some of these guys have... I was a bit stunned, Johnny, to realise that you're now 27. I still think of you as one of the...
You're almost past it, Johnny.
No, hardly.
I am.
No, I was joking.
No, I am. I'm getting old.
And there's Roxy, his little South African lady friend, congratulating Billy Bolt.
You'll be back, Johnny.
You will.
You'll be back.
Well, excuse me, but there are guys like Andreas Lettenbichler, although he has just packed in, and Graham Jarvis at 43, David Knight at 40, who are still rocking on doing this kind of stuff. Knight is racing the Skegness Beach race tomorrow.
Is he?
Yeah.
He might be Todd's biggest rival.
He could certainly be. So Nathan Watson, Glenn Coldenhoff, Jentel Martins. There he is, number 63, will be on the rostrum at the end of the Red Bull Knockout 2018. Chapelier, Todd Kellett, Jamie McCanny will miss out on it, rounding out the top 6. And I think we've got Billy Bolt and Chenny, with Chenny down in the pits. Billy,
you are the first ever World Enduro, the first ever West champion, mate. I'm lost for words. What a race it has been. What a year it has been for you.
Yeah, we've had 2 goes of celebrating it. It still hasn't sunk in at all yet. I'm speechless, to be honest. It's such a long year, so many races, different races, like massive team effort from everybody, with so many different kind of bikes and just, huge effort. So thank you to everyone at Rockstar Husky and family and everyone back home for, supporting us and getting us here to where I am today. So it definitely hasn't sunk in, so I don't have a clue what I'm saying, to be honest, but I'm sure it will and you'll get a proper interview soon, but I'm just completely lost for words at the minute.
I've got to ask you about the second half of the race. When you came in the second time, I took a pair of your goggles in the shin and you said she's twisted on the front. How difficult was the final part of that race?
It was all right after the pit stop and it was straight again. I did about 3 laps with the front twisted. And, it happened. I thought I'd be all right, and I just kept making more mistakes and ended up coming in and getting a face full of sand. So that I came in to get goggles. I thought I might as well straighten it out. I had a quick look at the watch and it was 40 minutes left. So I thought if I stop for fuel now, I'm safe for the end of the race. So came in and had a bit of a tantrum and then had a regroup and had a pretty strong second half to the race. But yeah, absolute chaos. I can't even remember what even happened in the race, to be honest. It's just a blur, but yeah, over the moon.
First ever World Enduro Super Series champion. Well done, my man, legend.
Billy Bolt, ladies and gentlemen, that's a guy who was such an enthusiastic kid that he used to be, at the age of 10, 11, 12, he used to be observing at trials, and he used to ride round as one of those guys at the Scott Trial, the famous Scott Trial in Yorkshire, collecting riders after the whole thing was over,
He went back and did it actually a couple of weeks ago. He got back on the trials bike for the Scott Trial, came 13th.
He did. Yeah. And he's finished 13th here. So it was, I beg your pardon, he's finished 12th. He finished 12th. He moved into 12th place on the final lap.
Just outside the top 10.
That's impressive. I'd rather he finished 12th than 13th.
Yeah.
And the fact is that he was such an enthusiastic kid that all he ever wanted to do was find a way of riding his bikes. And this is where the sea becomes a threat, ladies and gentlemen.
This is where teamwork's needed, Jack.
Yeah, but you need more than 2 guys, don't you? Because we can only move 1 bike at a time. Which Yamaha shall we save?
Toss a coin for that, I think. Oh, the 484's got the nod.
And I think Chenny's also got hold of the Red Bull Knockout winner, Nathan Watson.
I have got hold of him. Nathan, finally, 2 second places, and you eventually take the win here at the Knockout. The normal smile has been doubled.
Yeah, I just can't believe it. I was so emotional when I crossed the line, Second at the 2K, second year twice, and to finally do it, I put everything into that, and yeah, can't believe it yet.
See how much it means to you. Also, 3rd in the West Series as well. It's been a hell of a day for you, Nathan.
Yeah, I didn't know that until I crossed the line. Yeah, that's just a bonus, Just so happy for everything. Thanks to the team for all the hard work, and yeah, amazing day.
Well done, mate.
Thank you.
Look what that means to him, Jack, eh?
Yeah. And indeed to the family, his old man and his mum and Ben, they'll be in a similar sort of state somewhere. And the wonderful thing about Rob Meek is, in complete contrast to your archetypal motocross dad that I'm sure you've all come across at times, is that Rob Meekie always stayed completely in the background. There was never any of that pushing the lads along or anything. He stayed, just gave them the support they needed, and that was it.
Well, all them pushy MX dads out there, it's not the way to do it. Let them grow on their own.
How was your dad, Johnny? Was he?
No, he wasn't like that.
He was a helpful chap.
He was chilled, yeah.
Chilled. I should think so. He's brought up a fairly chilled son, hasn't he? So
yeah.
You would think that he would be. Is that gentleman? Was that a still photograph? Had that gentleman just gone to sleep standing up?
It's possible after that.
Look at the tide surging in now. That line is almost lost. And I think Chenny's also caught up with the 20-year-old Manny Lettingbickler.
Manny, what a year it has been for you, and to end it the way you have done today, by your own admission, not the most comfortable on the sand, but it's been a great day for you. 2nd in the West Series.
yeah, it's just unbelievable. Like, I wanna thank my dad and like my friend, just because they're supporting me like all year long, and I got a pretty good rhythm in the race, so I was super stoked about that, because just find a good flow and then could go like a good speed. For sure, Billy was on it also, but I think I made a good job. It's nice to finish the season well, and we're really looking forward for the next year, training over the winter and hopefully come back stronger.
It's been an incredible year for you. You say you come back stronger next year. I mean, really, it's only between yourself. I mean, obviously there's Taddy and Jonny and everyone else, but yourself and Billy have perhaps just been that little bit ahead of everybody else in terms of performance and especially consistency. So it is looking good at going into next year.
For sure, for sure. Like, I'm always trying to be consistent and don't go too crazy at the races. So it was a good year, and I'm happy. And now it's time probably for beer.
Legend.
Thank you.
Thanks to my dad. That's something he's taught me. It's now time for a beer. Yes, time to relax.
Well, they're from the right part of the world for a beer, right?
Or in my case, a shandy. What was it? Radler.
Radler.
Radler's the wonderful... Here in Holland, they have shandy in a bottle. Radler. It's absolutely
Jack, honestly,
heaven.
I don't think we should promote the drinking of shandy. I'm from the south, man. I've got to be careful. You know
Well,
what I mean?
I'm from the
I'm never
north.
going to live it
I-
down. I've never drank a shandy in my life. I'm
Yeah,
like, just
you are.
No, honestly,
Okay.
no.
Well, excuse me, but I'm from the land of Newcastle Exhibition and Newcastle Brown Ale, mate. So for me to be talking about shandies is probably fairly disgraceful.
Yeah.
Glenn Coldenhoff there, the fabled number 259 that he'll be carrying into the MXGPs next year. I hope that hasn't burst his bubble of confidence, Jonny. It won't have damaged him too much, will it?
No, he
losing
should
that
be
race?
good. I guess he's happy to get it over with. You know, they have such a long season racing
Yes.
motocross, so much travelling and that. And yeah, I guess this is the final race of the year for him, so he'll be happy to get it over with. And I guess he's going on holiday soon.
You know, I think that now you mention it, that could well have contributed just to fatigue, really. I mean, it's not just the racing, it's the huge amount of travelling to those events as well.
Yeah, I'm just guessing, but I guess after the Nations, he'll have probably chilled out a little bit.
Yes. And I think we have caught up with Glenn Coldenhoff with Chenny. Chenny, over to you.
Yeah, Jack, I'm down here with Glenn. Glenn, a tough race. It started out so strong. I mean, nobody could touch you. Once the X-loop opened, things changed a little bit, got that little bit more tricky.
Yeah, sure, you know. In the beginning I felt good, and I took, I think, 2 times already the Joker lane and was still up front. And yeah, once the X-loop went open, you know, the first lap was okay. I mean, I crossed the trees and the thing also was no problem. But the lap after, you know, there was a lot of traffic, and yeah, I was a bit scared to get disqualified. And you know, sorry, I still went over the trees, and yeah, the third lap I came to the X loop. I still wanted to do the trees, but my friend was waving there, come on the side, and I said no, I want to go over, but then I saw someone from the organization here, and he also told me go aside, and you know, I think I lost a bit of time there, but on the end, you know, also we had a small issue in pit lane, and we were very, very lucky because I almost completely empty my fuel tank when I came in, and so it was a tough race, I would say, but in the end, very disappointed with the second place.
Listen, third in 2016, second this year. You know, you're just going to follow what Nathan Watson's done, basically. His first next time out.
Yeah, sure. No, I must really say, you know, after Destinations, I really put in the work and put in the hours on the bicycle, on the bike and everything. And I really tried my hardest, but today wasn't my day, I think.
Thanks, Glenn.
That is one of the most gracious sportsmen you could ever meet. Glenn Coldenhoff, who has finished second in the Red Bull knockout. And remember, guys, he did wait a lap longer than Nathan Watson before pitting for fuel, didn't he? So they obviously got very borderline.
It sounded like it, yeah, and it sounded like maybe it didn't fuel quick enough or something. It sounded like he said they had an issue in there because we did lose a chunk of time, but you know, we saw him take that line up the side of the track, and we said about it, and he just addressed it there. I mean, yeah, what a gentleman and a man who loves his motocross.
So hopefully the well-earned holiday will come now, because he obviously hasn't taken it since the
He's got to start training. When's the first MXGP?
Oh, blimey, they start stupidly
February?
early. We're on air with them from about beginning of March.
Yeah?
Yeah, I think the first one is scheduled for something like March the 10th.
You might have tomorrow off then.
Meanwhile, various motorcycles being rescued before they drown, which is probably a good thing.
Yeah.
God, the amount of kit that has to be around on this beach to deal with things is quite overwhelming.
750 volunteers out there today.
Is that how many
marshalling the track? Yep. One for every rider in the final.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, someone
and
needs
there are
to get
still
that.
some motorcycles left out there.
off.
I think that bike, I might go. That looks like it's been abandoned.
Just doesn't it? But
Yeah.
poor thing, it needs a bit of tender loving care and attention. At least those have got it.
Well, if the sea
riders.
gets hold of it.
By the way, after the qualifier this morning, a lot of work going down in the pits.
Yeah.
The pits were a hive of activity, crammed with people cleaning up and sorting out motorcycles for the main event. It's that sort of work behind the scenes that you tend to forget sometimes.
But that's right. I mean, thankfully it was quite dry, but like brake pads can go and new filters have got to be put in, and all that's made a lot harder by the fact there's sand everywhere. You've got to check the water levels, you know, all those things, just to make sure. There's a lot can go wrong at a beach race.
And sand's particularly evil stuff, isn't it? Because it wears sprockets and chains quickly.
Literally, it's like brake pads, chains, filters, constant, you know.
Usually you'd sell your bike after a beach.
Yeah, there'll be loads of these in the paper.
Yeah, I wouldn't buy a bike.
Only ridden once.
Only
That's
ridden
right.
once and wrecked.
Yeah.
So Nathan Watson takes victory then from Glenn Coldenhoff and Jentel Martens. They'll be the guys who will get on the podium for the Red Bull Knockout 2018. Also have that second podium, which Nathan Watson will reappear on alongside Billy Bolt and Manny Lettenbichler.
Looking down the order as well, you know, Paul Bolton inside the top 20, 18th for him.
Yeah,
Great ride.
18th for Paul Bolton.
Just two spots off Garcia.
He warmed up with a 10th place at Western Supermare.
Yeah.
Good ride there. Lettenbichler finished 15th. Garcia 16th. Paul Bolton in 18th. Bradley Cox, 20-year-old son of the legendary Alfie Cox, has finished in 19th place. And then there's Roxy, Billy and Stan, Lee Edmondson. Oh, they've got the banner ready good and proper, didn't they? Oh, of course, Billy's dad was coming over last night, wasn't he? He was on his way for the actual event today.
They were saying his grandma was coming, but she's in a wheelchair and they didn't know how they were going to get her onto the beach for the podium. So they were trying to work that out before.
I'm sure they'll find a way. The resourceful
Billy will be able
people,
to carry her, I
Geordies.
think.
Yeah. That's the boat coming in for the remaining bikes on the beach. Yeah, what an event.
That would be nice to have that number 1 plate on the front of your bike.
Do you know the number 1 plate? He said, hanging his head. The number 1 plate is traditionally a really hard plate to defend with.
That's right.
A lot of champions don't have a good year when they kind of abandon their normal racing number for the number 1 plate.
And there's a lot of pressure
in
on
fact, Red Bull KTM wanted Paul Jonas to run number 1 in MXGP this year, which he did with his little number 41 inscribed at the bottom of the number 1. But it wasn't enough, and he lost the championship to Jorge Prado.
Everyone wants to beat the number 1. That's it. It's like a target on your back. I
Yes.
get. Not that I've ever had a number 1. I must hasten to add.
Yeah, me neither.
It's a bit of a sore point with some people in the commentary box.
You would have, if you hadn't suffered injury, you'd have been well in the running for this title, Johnny.
I'd like to think I could have been fighting for the championship, yeah. But things aren't meant to be.
So next year's another year.
Yeah, I'm going to start, literally, when I start riding again, I'm just going to focus on the WES Championship and try and get ready for next year.
Yes, you're not doing the Indoor Super Enduro Series.
I don't think so. I don't think I'll be ready for it. My wrist still isn't good, so we'll just take it as it comes. You know, I'm doing loads of work anyways to try and get fit. My main goal was to be ready for this race, and we didn't make it. I've had literally 6 hours of physio every day since I had the operation.
But to have ridden here today, I mean, to me, to look at your wrist and what you've been through, how many operations? I mean, it's incredible.
Just 2, yeah.
But yeah, all the plates in and out, and
Yeah.
2 on your wrist. But I mean, like, it's incredible the shape you're in already.
I honestly didn't expect to be as good as I am now. You know, my physio was like, oh yeah, you'll be good. We'll get you ready for Gotland was the plan. And then we changed the plan to get ready for here. And he just kept saying these dates all the time. So I've done so much physio, it's horrible.
Yeah.
Driving to the physio for 3 hours, driving home, having lunch, going back. It just
Jeffrey
wasn't
Hurlings,
nice.
MX1 world champion.
On the left of picture, the newly crowned MXGP world champion. This is the son of a former 500cc motocross world champion who actually won that championship on a Husqvarna in 1993, Jackie Martins. Jentel Martins on the Rockstar Husky finished third in the Red Bull Knockout 2018. Second place for Red Bull KTM and Glenn Coldenhoff.
I wonder how Hurlings feels sat down there knowing that he maybe could have raced.
Well, I think
and
probably
he
wanted the break, didn't he? He wanted to get frightened.
Oh, he's here.
And he's here to present the trophies. Jeffrey Hurlings then comes up to present the trophy to Nathan Watson, his successor as winner of the Red Bull Knockout. Nathan's got to heave that above his head, which he manages to do.
Easier said than done after riding around 2 hours.
Yes,
yeah,
right. I was thinking that. Yes, how much strength do you have left? So a Red Bull Knockout, the winner.
That's full of sand to make it
I tell you
worse.
what, that'll take pride of place in the scrapyard at Meeks in Nottingham.
They won't get much for it. There's not a lot of metal work in there.
No, that's true. That's very true. Well, on display rather than on display.
Yeah.
And they're celebrating then with unloading the champagne then. Jentel Martins, Glenn Coldenhoff and Nathan Watson. Oh, Nathan foolishly emptied his champagne ahead of Coldenhoff, so he gets an eyeful as compensation. That's nasty stuff. I once got a complete hit on my cameras when I was photographing a British Championship motocross podium, and that absolutely destroyed us. It's just like sticky, horrible. However, it's all right to spray and drink. So let's check out the official results of the Red Bull Knockout of 2018. And the win went eventually to Red Bull KTM, who came very close to a 1-2-3. Nathan Watson, Glenn Coldenhoff, Jentel Martins interrupting for Husqvarna in third place ahead of Camille Chapelier. Todd Kellett and Jamie McCanny, excellent rides on the St. Blazy Husqvarna for Todd Kellett in fifth place. Jamie McCanny from the Isle of Man, sixth ahead of Van Berkel, Van der Sande. Meplin in 11th place, the new West champion, Billy Bolt in 12th place ahead of Joel Smet's son, Greg Smets, enjoying his first ever beach race. Dumontier, Lettenbichler, Garcia Montana, Van Rouge, Paul Bolton, Bradley Cox and Rudy Lommers. Rico Lommers, rounding out the top 20. And of course, they were eventually, after the qualifying this morning, and precisely 661 riders went to the line because they were the number of riders that survived the qualifier after this morning's qualifier.
So if you finished the qualifier, you were in.
You finished the qualifier, you were in, except for the unfortunate Robbie Maddison, because Maddo got disqualified, otherwise it would have been 662.
More steam.
So here we go. This will be, and Nathan Watson will be back here because he finished third. This vaulted himself from sixth to third in the championship. Nathan Watson then, winner of Red Bull Knockout, 1,000 points added to his score, and that's good enough to vault him into bronze medal position in, that's it, sort out which one is the number 3 box. Well done, Nathan.
He was impressive today. Really impressive, that was.
Couldn't happen to, I can't over emphasise what an excellent family they are. Modest, charming bunch of people. Mickey always was at the height of his career. And then Manny Lettenbichler, another man, of course, with a successful racing father. And the World Endurance Super Series champion then of 2018, the first ever West champion, is Billy Bolt for Rockstar Husqvarna. He will win the crossbow, and the other two boys will have a bash, if they want to, at the crossbow rookie challenge, and worth 10 grand apiece. They can race a round of that crossbow challenge. That could be a lot. I'm more intrigued by what the crossbow will be doing along the seafront at Wall's End. It'll create havoc, won't it? Billy Bolt, an absolute enthusiast as a kid. And thereafter, all his family were into motorcycles and stuff, but no one was really competitive. Billy's turned out to be the very competitive one.
His first major title, but, you know, so young, not his last, I would say.
Yeah, because he, as I mentioned earlier, second, third and fourth places all the time in schoolboy trials to the likes of Jack Price and Ewan Roberts. Never actually won one.
I mean, he was that good at trials that it was surprising to see him go to Enduro, but it was the right move.
Well,
for
one
him.
of the things he said, I don't know whether Johnny would agree, was that he said trials went in the wrong direction. They started to make them easier. And he said that was what kind of made them boring for him and why he decided to seek fresh challenges. Well, you don't get a much bigger challenge than running this series. Oh, my goodness me. Roxy enjoying the fact that Fella's just become the World Endurance Super Series champion. And of course, there's only one person can become the first champion in a series like this, so it's one to be really remembered.
8 events, all diverse, and you know, it's Billy that has dealt with them best.
Yeah. So Billy Bolt, 12th in the Red Bull Knockout. That then presents him with the championship. And let's check out the overall standings in the World Enduro Super Series. 4,800 points for Billy Bolt. Manuel Lettenbichler salvages an excellent second despite a hand injury. Nathan Watson vaults into third place. Joseph Garcia in fourth. Tadej Blazusiak is there ahead of Paul Bolton, Wade Young, and the rest. And there is the crossbow. Billy Bolt.
They cannot let him loose in that thing. Oh, they can't give him that.
It's going to be havoc.
I didn't realise it was like a racing car.
Oh. Is it, so will he be able to scoot off down the oh, look.
I think he's going to drive it home.
Winnie and Philip there from the World Endurance Super Series in their smart grey jackets are there to present him with the crossbow. Ask him what he's going to do with it, boys. Just have a word with him and say, you know, is there any restriction in UK law that would prevent me just having a play with this along the seafront at Wall's End? So, that, ladies and gentlemen, was it. That was not only the Red Bull Knockout 2018, it was the culmination of the World Endurance Super Series. I'm Jack Bernicle. I've really enjoyed the company of Rob Warner and Jonny Walker. We wish Johnny all the best for 2019. He'll be back to full fitness and health and taking part in this wonderful series in 2019. But it's been a really dramatic day here on the beach. We saw Glenn Coldenhoff come close to victory, and then this man, Nathan Watson, snatch a dramatic finale. And then Billy Bolt crowned as the World Endurance Super Series champion for the Rockstar Husqvarna team. It's been a storming day on the beach here at The Hague, and we look forward to the next time. But for now, thanks for your company. Bye-bye.
So, what a day it has been here at The Hague. Billy Bolt has done it, the first ever World Enduro Super Series champion, and a great day as well for Nathan Watson. A fantastic weekend here on Red Bull TV of motorsport, and there's lots more to look forward to next weekend as the World Rally Championship heads for Australia, the final round of the series. Now, Sébastien Ogier and Thierry Neuville go head-to-head. They are separated by just 3 points in Ogier's favour. It is a man-on-man battle. A huge event next weekend in Australia as we will crown a World Rally Champion. Will it be Neuville or will it be Ogier? Make sure you join us on Red Bull TV Live next weekend. In the meantime, from me, Mike Chen, it's a massive thank you to you for watching, to Jack, Johnny and Rob in the commentary box. And I guess, finally, congratulations, Billy Bolt. We'll see you next year when the West will kick off again in May at Lagares. Until then, goodbye.